the scenes are talking about this, and it's like, really, I feel like there's so many worse things you can start to split off from commentators on, and it just starts to become like the tiniest and tiniest things every other time I see it. So yeah, definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's gotten pretty bad.
What up,
All right, boys,
boys?
give me 3 minutes and we'll kick this off, all right? I'm just going to take a piss and we'll just
Late
get
as
going.
fuck, Gibbs. Late as fuck.
I know. It's traffic.
He always is.
I was late too. God,
Just got to be ahead of the host.
Andrew Wilson debate. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, about that.
That's right.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say is this, is that Candace found the kryptonite. I'll put it that way. When I debated Andrew, the one thing I got him on was facts. If you bring any like facts and current events, like if you bring those two into his debate with him, he's not big on current events. So like if you know that going into it and you know his arguments that he's going to make because he's a very public figure, it's really easy to like corner him. And I'm surprised that Candace found that button to be able to push.
Yeah, I was surprised too, just knowing Candace and seeing her stuff beforehand. And I was interested to see how prepared she would be or like what angle she would take. So I was kind of, it's almost like one of those debates where you really don't think you can root for anybody. But I guess the outcome that came from that was kind of funny in a way, especially as Andrew has become kind of like this bigger figure now who also now runs debate courses. So ironic there. So
how many people are getting refunds?
Yeah. Did you see, I don't know if this was true or not, but somebody said on Polymarket the odds that the Charlie Kirk shooter getting convicted now went down by like 10% after that single debate.
No way. Leave him alone. No way.
I'm very curious though, because I know Candace is locked up in a lot of lawsuits and things like that, and the case is still going on. And with a very public debate like that, I don't think there's going to be any like conflict, but I am curious if that's going to have like after effects in Candace's legal issues.
I think it gave her a chance to clean up what her actual position is.
It was a chance. Doesn't mean that it was successful. But
I doubt it will affect the lawsuit where Macron is suing him or her for saying that, like, I don't know, that they're lying about him marrying his own dad who's a transgender or something. That didn't really seem like it would be affected.
I definitely don't think that'll be affected.
It's just wild to me how much attention that debate
Oh.
honestly,
like,
realistically speaking, they're gonna make their money back more than that $300K. I guarantee it.
First of all, there is illusion to the debate. First of all, second of all, yeah, I mean, homie did it. Listen, I gotta be honest, and this is a hot take as a conservative. I know all my libs and socialists here are gonna like this take. First of all, brother, I never want to hear, as somebody that likes to gamble. This man, you know, I've done gambling my whole. I did betting odds for BoneSnapper.com and USA Today, right? I'm going to tell you something right now. no man that goes around flexing on smaller streamers saying, pay me 10 grand to do X or pay me 10 grand or bet 10K can ever say ever again that shit after you put up a GoFundMe or whatever that shit is. That shit's outrageous. I like, next time I see him and he wants to bet on something, I'm like, let's bet. I'm going to put 10K acres up right now. That's like several $1 million. You put that match up and let's make this bet right here live on television. And then we can see who wins it. They're not going to do it because I'm going to be like, oh, or if you do it, you can't put a GoFundMe in there to get the money. Right? That's crazy work. How do you sit here and say, I'm going to go flex on other streamers? Like your whole career. Bet 10K. Hey, Sarah, pay 10K. Hey, brother, what was the guy that they had? Wick, I'll pay you 10K to become box. Jake Shields offered him 40K to get them. First of all, I will say this. I know Jake Shields. I met him a few times to train together. I would never willing to get in the cage with Jake Shields. Don't take the 40K to get in the cage with Jake Shields. That's a bad call. But I will say, it's crazy that you're going to have a bet. Like as your main thing.
He wanted to charge me $4,000. He wanted to charge me fucking $4,000. He's like, yeah, you have to pay me to fucking debate. And then after that shit, crazy. I mean, I don't know.
I had a hot take. I thought that was pussy shit. Maybe Grid can defend it. Hold on, I got it. Grid, defend the GoFundMe right now. Grid, defend it. No pressure. Did I just lose sound? Oh, I did lose sound.
Gibbs, you just said defend the GoFundMe and gave no context the second he jumped in. All right, now he's not wearing his.
Sorry, I'm back. Listen, let me tell you something, guys. Latinas are always needy. That's all you need to know.
Oh, geez.
It's okay, though. It's fun. If you don't get stabbed 52 times, it's really love. All right, now we have this one conservative. We can start this. All right, while he gets his shit set up, are you good?
Is who good?
Grid? I know,
yeah, man, I just walked in. Give me 5 seconds, bro.
All right, that's fine. I know Pisco always confuses my Texas accent with drunk slurring, but I promise it's just the Texas accent. You know what I'm saying? I actually don't drink that much.
That much?
Yeah.
That much?
It's a relative term.
Just a bottle a day keeps the cirrhosis away.
Keeps the cirrhosis away. Socialist
But
can't
are you
afford
really
liquor.
I was gonna say, are you really a Texan if you don't drink a little bit? I mean, Austin might be a little bit different, to be fair. Okay, we might have a little more on the the craft brews.
My favorite part of the debate was when Andrew Wilson was like this the whole time, just holding his fucking face.
Yo, he would listen. Candace was like stout. She was like just not nervous, not shaking or anything. I will say, from the poise perspective, she was far more poised than Andrew Wilson. I will say that.
Yeah, she ranked higher in poise. That said, like Candace sounded like an insane person. I just want to say, like, obviously, I think Andrew won.
Is that news for you?
No, but I just want it to be said that there was one period where I think she spoke for 10 minutes uninterrupted and just was rambling. It was crazy. They let her do that. No way.
I'm gonna dive out and rejoin, just see if this works.
All right, sounds good.
Sounds good, brother.
This feels like deja vu from when we went to GridCon, except now I'm having a debate Grid and what's his name now? Just feels backwards. Gibbs. Not Gibbs, no, Glenn Powell or whatever his name is. Not Glenn Powell. I don't remember his name.
I'm done getting up. All right, cool. He's moved back in. We're good. I'll just fight all y'all if none of them are ready. It'll be 1 versus 6, I guess.
Jeez, Gibbs, that's a total. You might have to join in on it.
Yeah, I'm not that worried. I'm not going to join in if I don't have to. I'd rather it be fair. You know, I hate when people do the moderation. It's just like super unfair moderation. It's annoying.
Name names.
All of them.
Say it. Say his name out loud. Say
Sure. Yeah, I'll say it. Wick, we got Andrew there. We got all these fuckers. Who do you want? Listen, I like Wick. Don't get me wrong, but you know, my biggest thing is if you make a point like on one side, like okay, I'll make a point. I'll make a hypothetical, and clearly I'm going somewhere with this. Don't stop me at the hypothetical. Let me make the point because I'm probably gonna grant that bullshit and then make a point. But don't be like, oh, I see Gibbs is going, and these guys don't know what they're doing. Stop me before, please. But it's okay. But it's not just Wick. Wick's like biased left. Andrew and them are biased left, right? You know, Easy, same shit. You know, all these people are too biased. Like, it's better when we have an actual combo. Like, if you're gonna mod, try to stay out of it, or help the side you think is losing. You know, like even if that's not your team. You know, I don't know. At least so it's fair. You know, I don't know. It's just a personal pet peeve, but whatever. Fuck them. All right, great. You got your shit together?
I don't know, man. You know how much I hate Discord.
Okay, listen. This is Papa. It's real simple. Disable your camera in StreamYard. Okay.
In StreamYard, are you in StreamYard?
Disable your camera, whatever program you're using that's not Discord.
Yeah. I'm not live anywhere.
Okay, but it's probably on.
Give me a sec. I'm make sure that I'm not.
This happens every time. This is peak.
You already know.
Don't worry, guys. I knew this was Friday, impromptu shit show. It's gonna be good. We're probably gonna get a nice three-way fight. I'm excited. This is much better than the Candace Andrew conservative circle jerk.
yes.
You know, I'm sure that Pete's gonna fight all y'all. We gotta have fucking Vigilante fight the rest of y'all, and then y'all all gonna hate the conservatives.
Left wing gridiron over here, I guess, right?
Yeah, what's called?
I'll be back in a second.
Oh my lord, brother!
Come on, grid.
Red. It's like his first time streaming.
You-
All right,
It's
well,
not like he hosted GridCon or nothing and got all the technology and everything set up. Come on, grid.
we're gonna call Glenn too. These guys, bro. Of course,
Yeah, I
the
know. What's going
lefties
on
are
with
on
these
time.
Republicans, bro?
I know, god damn it, bro. Giving them all bad look, bro. Okay, we're gonna start in 5 minutes, regardless if they're ready or not.
There you go.
I don't give a shit. I'll start fighting.
Your call has been
We don't need them. We don't need them. All
By the way,
right.
I'm live. I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys know.
Yeah,
that.
we're all live now.
I'm live too.
I'm live as
We're all
well.
live.
Yeah, we're all
Yeah,
live.
yeah,
We're all
we're
fucking
pretty much all live.
We're all seeing the shit show that is this bullshit. That's okay though. This was impromptu's chat. You know, don't worry about it. Everybody figured this out in less than a day. We can't complain. Wouldn't do us any good if we did. Yeah. You know, these men, unlike some people, Dragon Fist, we don't need a week to prepare for a debate. we do it the day of. In fact, I'm pretty sure Pisco's been fighting anti-Semitism the last 48 hours. He probably woke up 5 minutes ago and he's ready to fight this shit. Like, am I right?
I'm like, what's going on? I don't hate Jews.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I heard something. They were like, "Oh yeah, Pisco's fight, whatever." And then I like tuned in last night. And I just see like fighting like 10 different people. I'm like, yeah, he's gonna be ready for tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
How's everybody? Tell us. Wait. Well, you know what? We're just gonna do an intro, and we can get an intro from everybody here, and then we'll fucking talk about some exciting shit. Because the bad host. Welcome everybody to Give Me a Break. This is the Friday night shit show edition of Give Me a Break. Y'all watched Right on Right Violence on the earlier day, and as a conservative host, I'm gonna say one thing. Listen, all these lefties are about to disagree with what I have to say, but we need to come together as conservatives, and we need to keep those motherfuckers down. And so what we're doing today is we're gonna fight the left, or at what's supposed to, it might be a 1-on-5. Who knows? I will tell you this though, it's gonna be exciting. But before we get into it, while we wait for conservatives who apparently have jobs and can't be on time, let's go to our contestants today. Let's start with Castle. Tell us who you are, where to find you.
Hey everybody, so my name is Castle. You can find me on Twitter and YouTube at CastleGuard YT. I am a political streamer from more of a center-left perspective, but love to opine about all things sports, politics, markets, pop culture, whatever it is. So if you like perspectives from that type of view, give me a follow. And yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. How about we go to you, Mr. Pisco? Tell us who you are, where to find.
Yeah, I'm a person who is a lawyer. I talk about politics and law and sometimes other shit. And you can find me at Pisco Liddy.
Also streams a lot, so if you turn on your
Yeah.
fucking Twitch, you'll find him and follow his
Hell
ass. Yeah. All right, Mr. Wilson.
Yes, sir. I am the Vince Wilson, not to be confused with the Andrew Wilson. And if you call me Andrew Wilson one time, I will totally flip out. Okay, we are totally separate from each other. Anyways, I stream on YouTube, Twitch, X, TikTok, even, and TikTok is where you're going to find a lot of my live streams and things as well. Usually right after work and before work. Nonetheless, I am the Vince Wilson Show. I provide liberal political commentary. Yes, liberal. Not illiberal, not DSA. All right, liberal commentary. Anyways, guys, looking forward to it. It's gonna be a fun little debate. I'm excited.
All right, thank you so much. And Vigilante.
Yeah, I'm the Vigilante TV. You can find me at that name on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. I primarily do debates from a leftist perspective. And I'll also do a lot of religious debates because they're fun. It's always fun to piss off the Christians. And then I do a lot of gaming content as well. I'm getting back into streaming as of pretty much this week. So
Fantastic. Yeah, and guys, we are going to be doing a lot of live content next week, so my streaming schedule's going to be weird. We're going to be hosting the Sean Kelly Show twice as a mod for Pearl, and I guess Alex Stein, then debating, that's who united as one of the debaters. And then next week, and then I think week after, or 2 weeks after, we're going to be hosting either GridCon 3 on the 11th, and then we're going to be doing maybe the RNC convention. I think there's some sort of outnumbered surrounding debate thing as well. All in all, it's popping over here. Exciting times. I guess we can start, and maybe I'll fight y'all until we get the other people in, or maybe you can fight each other. I don't know. These conservatives are really fucking failing me. Fuck you guys. I hate you for being late. All right, let's start with Castle.
You should join the left, Gibbs.
Yeah, see, y'all hate Texas ranchers. There's the problem. That's my big one. Maybe if y'all did some policy that helped me. Listen, I'm willing to do it, guys. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna give a take before we do it that I think y'all all like. Everybody in Texas, I don't care what it takes, but if you don't go and vote against Dan Patrick, whether it's third party or blue, you are not a conservative Republican in Texas. Fuck this motherfucker. He hates agriculture in Texas. And you know what? He's a Yankee on top of that. Get this bitch out of office. I don't care what it takes. Jesus need to come down from the heavens and tell y'all to kick Dan Patrick out. He has to go. I encourage everybody that's Republican to vote red, except for Dan Patrick, and except in your local elections, vote for what's best for you. Because, you know how it is in local elections here, guys. All right, let's start with Castle. Grid's in here. Grid, does your shit work now? Last chance.
Fuck if I know. I don't know why it's being such a bitch tonight with Discord. It doesn't normally have any problems, but
you always have
tonight
problems.
It's being a bag.
Well, thank you for saying that. Well,
it's weird that it knows that it's there. It's just not
we're all live.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Come on, Grid.
Yeah, thank you. TUS. Don't say slurs. By the way, folks.
He said something totally different.
Yeah, he said Walmart bag. Anyway, Castle, start us off with your intro. He's gone again.
Grid dipped out. No. Don't just come in here and drop that and dip out. You can't do that. That's not it.
Wait, this is not his first time streaming either. Castle, go ahead. Start us off.
All right. Well, full and total endorsement of what Gibbs just said about Dan Patrick. Terrible, terrible person. Should never win his election in Texas. From a center-left perspective, though, I'm interested to see where people stand on this, because before the debate began and before the prompt started, I was wondering to myself, I was like, well, where would people disagree on this? And I was thinking about if a socialist candidate ran against a Republican, would I vote against the socialist? And I was telling myself, of course I wouldn't. Why would I want a Republican to win a race? But there are certain instances where I believe if there is somebody coming from the far left, and there's even candidates now who have even won their races, like a Daria Lisa in New York City, where if there is a balance of power that the left is winning, and let's say hypothetically they win the Senate back and they win the House of Representatives, and then they win the presidency in 2028. And there is a race where a Democratic Socialist or somebody from the far left, call them a communist, whatever you want, is running, that won't affect that balance of power, and they have bad ideas. I don't think it's out of the ordinary for somebody who is an average American or even center left or center right person to say, this isn't somebody who I think should represent the left and I shouldn't vote for them and vote for the Republican. Let's say it's a Republican, you don't even have to call it an independent or whoever. So I think there are cases where you could get me to agree with that stance that there are people, and this happens on the right all the time, but this is a topic about the left, so we'll stick with that. But there are people who are coming from the far left who I think are spreading certain policies and ideas that are harmful and hurt the actual party itself from a Democratic Party standpoint. And I think in the long run can do real damage to that party and start to lose races on a national level. So I think there are instances where you can get me to agree with this stance. I don't think it would matter for me in a balance of power position where if Democrats needed to win a seat and it came down to that race where I would say vote for the Republican, I would not say that. But I think from even a state level, local level, and then certain instances on federal level where I think there are certain people on the left that are ruining the name of the Democratic Party and should be defeated by the other side.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's go to Vince Wilson's show real quick and get our next lib here and see what he thinks.
Yeah, so I had totally prepped a statement for, two wonderful Republicans to be up here to engage with. So
That's fine. I got
my
you.
feeling it. All right. So here's the thing. At the end of the day, it is easy to see that Republicans are the worst option to vote for. They have done nothing but concede or cede power to Donald Trump. They have done nothing to rein in the power. They've actually shown quite the opposite. They've said essentially that Trump's their daddy, essentially. So if you're looking at it from any kind of Democrat that's running, which by the way, currently there is none that I can see that are certainly not DSA aligned, if you will. Well, none that are DSA in the sense of like their policy prescriptions. We have had one candidate who managed to squeak through in Michigan, who now is the only DSA candidate that I've seen in a very purple or red district be able to kind of flip that essentially. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But 99.9% of the candidates that are on the Democratic ticket right now are going to be your run-of-the-mill normie Democrats. And so what we need to do is we need to make sure that we go in, we support Democrats because their policies are not only better, it's also more important that we flip the Senate and we flip the House in order to rein in Donald Trump's power, in order to subpoena, because we already know Donald Trump's DOJ with Todd Blanche isn't going to do anything when it comes to Donald Trump. So we need some kind of an investigative body, and that is where Democrats come in, hand over fist.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's go to Mr. Vigilante. Go ahead. You're a socialist take.
Yeah, so generally speaking, most of the DSA aligned candidates that are even running are really just like sock dems. They're not for the most part, none of them are actually like true social democrats. So it's nothing more than just voting in more progressive candidates. The idea that we should that Libs should vote against the DSA candidates or like or Democratic candidates in general is just accelerationist talking points. And in general, it's going to end up helping out the Republican short term and the far left in the long term. So I mean, if you want to go the accelerationist route, sure, go for it. You'll be helping out the people like Hassan instead of actually fighting against them.
Is that it? Okay. All right. And Mr. Pisco.
We're seeing like untold corruption from the federal government. Trump is enriching himself and his family. They're doing political prosecutions. It's a disgrace. And we need to purge peacefully and patriotically our government of all these filthy motherfuckers who are corrupting our country, leading us to unwinnable bullshit, unconstitutional wars. And that is the clear and present danger. That's what I'm all about. And I will vote for a fucking communist over a MAGA fascist. We can deal with whatever made up bullshit boogeyman communist threat occurs down the line. But in the short to midterm, it's not even close.
All right, Greg. Now you're here. You give us an opening, and if it's not satisfactory or problems, I'm going to give one for y'all until y'all get back. Go ahead and give us an opening here. What do you think? Why should the people vote over Republican over the Dems here with the incumbents, specifically for the Libs? Yeah, I see the cameras working very well.
You'll just have to do voice grid probably.
Yeah,
just to
let's do
keep
the
it
voice
easy.
for now.
Or we could just not use Discord and be cool.
No, don't do the stream.
Yeah, we're not boomers, bro. We're all fucking tech savvy. Get it?
Yeah, right. Okay. All right, whatever. I'm sorry. What were you were saying something?
Give your intro. Your intro.
My intro?
Yeah.
For me personally, I'm grid 1. Apparently I can't use tech. And I do debates and stuff occasionally.
Okay, and your thoughts on the topic?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the topic. I think that the more lefties vote further right, the better off we are, I guess. Sure.
Fantastic. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give an opening for them, and then I'm going to step back and moderate because, damn, that was tough. So, the reason I put this topic up here is because I think that the Libs should be pissed. They should be mad. The incumbents have gotten in bed with people they didn't really understand. We've all seen the movie The Dark Knight, right? With Heath Ledger's Joker. And there's this great scene where they're like, oh, we have to hire the clown, right? And that's just kind of where we're at right here. Y'all let the clown in, and y'all hired someone y'all didn't really understand. Y'all got people in there, and this is on y'all's incumbents' fault. And then on top of that, they are corrupt. We're seeing this right now. It was very sus with the USB things. We all saw the reaction to MSNBC's live thing. Now, maybe y'all don't agree that's corruption, but it seems like independents are not satisfied with y'all's party. And I think the best thing is maybe you'll get a refresh. Maybe you'll get rid of the incumbents that have allowed this to happen and vote Republican to send a message, just like I'm telling Republicans to do with Dan Patrick. And that's really my thoughts on this. I know y'all object to that, so I'm going to step back to moderating now, but I know y'all can fight. Go ahead.
The USB thing?
What
What are you
USB
talking
thing?
about?
Oh, you don't know about the USB thing? Oh, you want to?
Nope. No idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
When they were voting, that they like delayed
Yeah.
the USB.
Yeah, you want to see the yeah? We'll just share a video real quick because
You sound like Candace Owens. You're like ... corrupted. What the fuck is the logical inference?
Oh, you know what I mean?
I got you. We'll play a video and let's introduce this idea here.
They forgot to pick up the USB. Like, what are you saying?
Is this just,
Try to
is this just
regrab
Hunter Biden's laptop all over again?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden laptop. What do you mean? This is during their live election.
I think I know how to fucking
them.
Like, it's
Yeah,
corruption.
and they're,
Oh, you're talking about an
all the
election
folks behind the
USB?
scenes are
Oh,
trying
I know
to
what you're talking
represent
about.
So,
Yeah.
so
This was in
Look, it's
Menace,
unfortunate. The
folks
Wisconsin
behind
or
the
something
scenes
like
hear
that,
you're
wasn't it?
saying.
The last
Yes.
election with Francesca Hong?
Are
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
how do I
Greg.
ask this artfully?
Or,
Gibbs.
Gibbs. Sorry.
Yeah,
All right. It's no big deal, man.
Sorry, Grid.
Yeah, see, you know what I'm saying? You lost the USBs
Oh my
again.
god, missing thumb drive stalled, and what is that supposed to prove?
It sounds like it's real sus. You don't think so? Y'all don't think that the incumbents are...
You guys
You know,
were like,
you know what?
Even if it's not corruption, it shows ineptitude. Wouldn't you agree?
I'll tell you what's real corrupt here, Gibbs. Have you heard of what Donald Trump's intending to do with the SAVE Act if he doesn't get it passed? Do you know what he's going to do? He's going to put into place a national emergency and then draw up an executive order to federalize national elections, essentially ceding power from the inept, spineless Republicans in Congress. And that's what he's going to do. Which one's worse, the missing USB drives or the president of the United States actually saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to rip that power away from you, Congress, since you can't get the SAVE Act passed, I'm going to create this imaginary little emergency to get the power to federalize national elections. Which one's worse?
I would say the USBs. It's pretty simple. Because one is a clear and present danger. Please go talk to this opening about corruption.
The USBs
This
is worse than
shows-
pulling a fucking Emperor Palpatine?
No, because this is an established Republican precedent going all the way back to Lincoln and the Civil War. If there's a national emergency that's an extreme circumstance, which clearly voter fraud is, why are you upset about people having shot? Have you seen the James O'Keefe video today with where they're going and they're vouching for people to vote?
dude, that guy's a clown.
Yeah, but so exactly,
James
he's a
O'Keefe.
clown. Why, if he's a clown, why should he be able to get 8 people to vote at 8 different spots on this fucking in Minnesota? Clearly, this guy shouldn't be able to get random 8 people voted vouched like as vouchers. That's crazy.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're saying that he broke election law by giving the thing of value in exchange for someone's vote?
No, what he did was he went down there dressed as a person of Islamic descent, okay, and went in there in a certain cultural garb And he had other people wear full-on burqas where they weren't identifiable, and he just vouched that they were 8 people to see if they would allow to vote. And before voting, they all just left, so they didn't break any laws, but they were fully ready to allow him to do so. Is that not suspicious?
You know what's suspicious is putting ICE and the National Guard at polling locations. I think that's pretty suspicious. What do you think?
I mean, why would you be concerned about that? You're just going to show up with your ID and just be like, yeah, this is me, officer.
Do I need to bring up?
Sorry. The strat was that they were wearing a burqa and they were about to commit voter fraud, and then they didn't.
Well, yeah, because they were proving that it was easy to do fraud. Because y'all told us it's the most safe elections ever. You know, we have vouchers.
They didn't vote, right? So
well, yeah, because they didn't commit a crime. Yeah, they would have voted. They stopped literally when they were going to turn it in. No, the only reason it worked is because they voluntarily didn't do it. Because they're not criminals, like the
Because they were worried about the consequence. Because they were worried about the consequence.
No, because they were trying to prove a point. They didn't want to actually commit a crime, unlike the Dims who are using this as a system.
So you'd be like, so this is Gibbs right now, right? You bring a gun into a fucking shopping center, and you're like,
first of all, I would never do this. We all carry guns legally.
Okay,
pure hypothetical.
In a gun-free zone, right? And then you walk out, you're like, see, I could have shot people, and I didn't.
Actually, yes, they do this for like schools. They'll show people, they go in, they're like, look, we got guns in the school-free zone. You'll need to hype up security. We've been having death threats. Why would you not want to hype up security if security is that easily broken? Good, you were saying something.
I mean, I guess if that's your epistemic standard, I mean, is that your standard that like just being on the precipice of like a crime and then not doing it? That shows.
Yeah,
that
wait, hold on,
issue?
hold on, BC. Hold on. I gotta answer this real quick. I'm sorry, real quick. So then you agree that the SPLCU actually committed crimes by funding the white supremacists?
That's like
so it's totally different whenever they actually go through with the crime and they fund like the Unite the Rally. Well, they funded the Unite the Right rally. She's been charged.
You're like, you don't believe that this showed anything.
Well, no. So they funded it. Okay, go ahead.
So this is your logic was, okay, you don't believe that this is a problem, therefore SPLC did crime. That make sense.
No, I'm going to show you the equivalency. So James O'Keefe basically went through the process, got right up to the crime committing part, and showed that they were allowed to do it, then didn't commit the crime to document it, right? Which is what you do as an informant. These guys, the SPLC, they basically funded the Unite the Right movement. They actually have someone fucking charged with crimes now for doing this, and it seems like a pretty open and shut case. And they defrauded their donors.
Charged with crimes?
I don't have this in front of me.
Which person is charged with crime?
Give me 10 seconds.
There is no person charged with crime. It's the entity is charged with the crime, and yeah, I think it's bullshit. It's like just because you
she was charged. Doesn't mean Heidi Brandt Bellerich was accused.
She was charged. They charged them.
Yeah, after like 3 or 4 days ago. Yeah, I think so. They charged her. She was arrested and indicted on federal charging. Alleged she oversaw a scheme to funnel $4 million into donor funds to informants inside the white street, anyway, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, it's the same kind of facts and circumstances of the SPLC. And I mean, what the fuck does this have to do with DSA people and communists?
Point is, they were actually committing crime. Oh yeah, nothing.
I want a consistency check on Gibbs real quick.
Sure.
Right. So you mentioned the whole like putting ICE in the military at voting locations.
National Guard, not the military.
Well, National Guard still.
Sure.
Was it okay when Nicolas Maduro did this in Venezuela?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, Vigilante. If you know my policy, they're all about to laugh at you because they all know my policy. I don't give one fuck about Venezuelan law because we're the goddamn superpower. We have 11 super carriers. That's the international law. And if you turn that light off one more time, I'm going to fucking, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to yell at you, I guess.
That was a non-answer. Do you think it affected the legitimacy of the election at all?
I mean, I think actually, like threatening his opponent and eventually, potentially, did he actually kill the opponent, or there's like some really hinky stuff that went against his opponent. So yeah, I would say that probably affected it. I don't know that having armed men there really had the effect of chilling the election as much as threatening your opponent with armed force.
I don't know if he threatened them before the election. I know there was some shit that went down after the election.
Well, do you think that ICE or National Guard would not be armed at polling locations?
Would they be? Okay, so do you find armed men threatening?
I would say that if they are armed, there is some level of authoritative figure that they are portraying. Actually, a matter of fact, use of force continuum and specifically states that the mere presence of multiple officers is enough to be to constitute a part of the use of force continuum. It's part of it to show enough force. It's a coercive force. Just the sheer number of people, let alone you add any kind of
who would they be?
military gear or anything like that.
Okay, fair enough. But which direction are they? Are they influencing?
Anybody that wants to go to the polling location, and especially if there's anybody that's ICE, and you know how ICE has picked up U.S. citizens, the track record is not real well. If you are of Hispanic or Latino descent, and after listening to Kavanaugh's message, you may be more inclined not to go.
Are you saying that I would be intimidated?
I feel like
by
Gibbs
the
is safe.
National Guard? Yeah, you think I'd be intimidated as a person of Hispanic descent at the poll?
I don't know.
No,
if
you're white
you
enough.
would-
They think you're white.
Oh, see, you're never white. You're never brown enough for the Browns, and you're never white enough for the whites. It's crazy work.
Look,
It's funny.
Gibbs, you're a redhead.
Are we
They,
here to
they,
talk
they
about
think you're
voting
from
for
Ireland.
Democrats?
Right.
We are.
I mean, that's what we're
Yeah.
supposed to be talking about, but we were like,
Yeah, let's go ahead.
we can-
Yeah, let's move on to the subject here. Glenn will
Let's
show up.
reel it in.
Well, if not, I have somebody that we can replace him with here in about 5 minutes. He's got about.
I don't know what's going on with Glenn. I closed all the windows down, so I can't see anything.
Don't
going
worry
on
about it. Let's, so, all right. Give me your pitch, Greg. Why should the people vote out incumbent Dems? What are your thoughts here, Greg?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think that the old guard, a lot of the old guard Democrats have been bamboozled into believing that the new DSA folks are actually on their side when that is just simply not the case. And whether we want to talk about how, DSA aligned people treat the courts and various other institutions as illegitimate structures, requiring radical transformation, radical new teachings, new worldviews. Whether we want to talk, whether it's just that, or if we want to talk about how, they win in these low turnout primaries. We actually just had that happen here. We had a guy who's, I don't know if he actually identifies as DSA, but he won a councilman spot. Youngest guy ever, actually, in my area to do so. And it's going to be really interesting to see how the old guard, the few old guard Democrats that back this guy, like what he has to say, because I think he's very radical. I think he's a poison pill. And to be honest with you, I'm honestly enjoying this because I think that they're, if the DSA movement continues forward, it's going to burn the Democrat Party to the ground, and I'll watch it. I will sit on the sideline with popcorn.
Yeah, but why should motivate us to vote for Republicans? You just gave a bunch of descriptive accounts for what you think is going to happen, how they're different. So motivate me.
Right. Okay. So, all right. Yeah, fair enough. I did define the problem. Now, so the reason that reason that Democrats ought vote for Republican candidates is even if you don't agree with everything we stand for, we're not going to be trying to radically change things. Republicans tend to defend and install what's the word I'm looking for? Incremental reform within institutions. We don't go for sweeping changes for the most part. Whereas the DSA guys are. And what's just look at what Mondami's done in New York. I mean, he's like out of control up there. And for Democrats that still value functioning governance, merit-based systems, and some sense of social cohesion, I just feel like that they're going to align more with
radical right now. I mean, they're supporting this crazy amount of corruption with nary a fucking whimper about it.
I don't know why you're so much lower. I'm sorry, Peace. Whoops. I'm sorry. I don't know why you're so much lower.
All right, I'll try to get really, really close to the mic. Is that any better?
That is way better.
Okay. All right. I don't know why I should be worried about the radicalism from the DSA, especially the fact that many of them start to moderate when they're in office. The fact that the ones who are elected, like was said, are more like social democrats. They don't really seem that majorly different, to be, if I'm just being truly honest, with an AOC type figure, which is very palatable. The radicalism I'm seeing is the people who are basically promoting this authoritarian regime and all the corruption entailed by it, and supporting, for example, Todd Blanche, who was wanting to convert a bunch of taxpayer-funded money to insurrectionist thugs. That's the kind of shit that keeps me up at night. I worry about the safety of our republic, and so I don't know what the DSA people have done that should make me fear more than that.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't agree with you on your synopsis of thugs. I don't think that we would have an alignment of viewpoints there. So I would say that yeah, I think you're overblowing that.
I mean, here's the thing, right? This, and I'll step in because you're failing me.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the argument that we're making here. A lot of the Republicans are making is that okay. We see the extreme. Pisco, he's doing a wonderful job selling the idea that AOC is a moderate when she's over here in a district in a city where the guy is over here trying to push I don't know, socialist grocery store. Like, this is a good idea. The grocery stores already work at maybe one of the smallest margins of profit in general. If you can do better than them, you know what? I'll hands down turn over to socialism. I know this shit's going to fail. It's just not a good idea. And so we're seeing this over and over. And then they turn around and say something like, oh, he fixed the debt when he basically took a loan from the government. Maybe it wasn't a loan specifically, but it all, since like intents and purposes, basically is that he got money from daddy government to cover their debt because he wants to put a bunch of programs in that he can't afford. And then he docks his constituents, and then people like over here, like you guys, want to say, oh, potential harm versus real harm. And it's clear when we have people fleeing the city of New York, fleeing the state of New York to like Florida and Texas, and Chicago.
New York's great, man.
Oh, it's doing.
New York is great, and let's be real about something, right? Like, okay. If he makes these like government run grocery stores and they crash and burn like you say they will,
yeah, fantastic for us.
He'll just like further debunk whatever, socialism, communism, or whatever, and then you guys win. Like,
so you should either vote. So then good. You should either vote DSA or you should vote Republican. You shouldn't vote the incumbents because they seem like inept.
Yeah, I mean,
So I want to say this
vote
too.
for one of the extremes.
I want to kind of take a different. I want to take a similar but different approach here. So, like, I think there is something to be said about reigning in the DSA on the left, but let me clarify. That should be done in the primary, in which we have seen time and time again, and like I mentioned earlier, in most blue and red contentious areas, we have seen DSA not do too well at all. And in fact, some of them, and I have my takes about what happened in Michigan with El Said, but we do hold our own accountable to some extent or another by the primary. I can't quite say the same about the right, and the concerns about communism that come from the right are very ironic given what's taking place with Donald Trump. For everything they're kind of saying that's happening, what they define as communism, which is typically more or less authoritarian and government control, we're seeing that happen under Donald Trump. So it's like y'all are worried about the left, you're worried about what we're doing, when you're not even looking at your own party and your own house and seeing that your leader is what you fear the most. But yet we're blind to that. You're blind to what is actually happening, and you're looking in the wrong
I think it's
direction.
a bold statement saying that that Donald Trump is enabling communism. I think that's pretty bold.
That's not what I was saying. I said your fears of communism are typically based around authoritarianism, based around government control, based around a couple of other different things. And those tend to be what Donald Trump is doing, quite literally with Intel. We've seen this with TikTok. We've seen where he's tried to rein in power from Congress. He's ignored judicial injunctions. We've seen where Donald Trump is everything that you guys fear about communism. I want to be clear.
And
don't think that communism is the greatest thing in the world.
I've been critical of much of that. But, okay, so I've been critical of much of that. But how about Democratic administrations and blue state governments? They've also expanded executive power, speech codes, institutional pressure. They're trying to get, literally every time I turn around, there's another like weird ass policy to put some agenda that nobody agrees with into a public school or into some other organization where it doesn't belong. And we just had a fight here a couple of years ago in my town that gained national awareness, which was hilarious.
What's the authority?
We can go down the list. I mean, COVID mandates, campus speech rules, selective prosecution.
I know you're joking, bro. About speech
I'm not,
codes and
I'm not joking.
Well, let's go one by one. So you're like, the government tried to put something in the schools. Like, what does that mean, and how is that like expansion?
Well, I mean,
executive
here
power?
specifically, it was bringing in the like drag queen story hour and that sort of thing. I'm not going to get into all of. I mean, because I don't know where you're. I mean,
Okay,
I don't know
you
what
might
the
disagree
TOS
with.
is on it.
Okay, I'm assuming that there was a drag queen story hour. They tried to bring it into
It's something.
school,
I mean, it's
and-
close to that.
okay.
I'm not gonna like.
All right,
I
let's
don't know
say
what
it's
the TOS
close to
is
that.
over
Let's
there.
say it's
So
close to that. What's the executive overreach?
well, the
Sounds like you
Democrats
want to do something you don't agree
literally-
with. What's the like?
the-
they're
we-
expanding
we
executive
voted
power.
it out, and then there was a massive push from the left to allow it.
Did
But
you
that's
hear what the fuck
democracy.
I asked? Yeah, that sounds like you voted on shit. What's the executive overreach, the authoritarianism? You're like, they tried to do drag queen story hour. They're trying to like destroy checks on power.
literally
What does that mean?
The couple of Democrats in the area tried to push that through. Unfortunately, they couldn't because we're
Yeah, why is that
already-
overreach from like do you understand authoritarian shit where you're breaking laws, where you're like trying something that you don't agree with, even assuming they did drag queen for every kindergartner or whatever the fuck you're saying? Why is that executive overreach as opposed to like bad policy?
if it's put in by someone in a position of power without an actual vote, then that would be executive overreach, correct?
Not if
but-
they have
but
the
you
power
said
to
it
do it
didn't,
because they
though.
were elected. And you said it wasn't even implemented.
You just hold on. So are you trying to have your cake and eat it too here?
No.
okay,
no.
because-
If they have the so if you vote for someone to represent you as like, I don't know, the school board or the governor or whatever, and they have the authority to do the thing, then doing something that's within your authority isn't overreach, right?
It is if it's not within the scope of your office.
Yeah, that's what I just said. But what if
Yeah,
it is
so
within
that
the
would be
scope of their
overreach,
office? It
right?
doesn't- Not if
It's not within their. It's not within. It was not within the scope
okay,
of
what
their
was the
office.
position? What was the position of the? Who are we talking about here? What was their position?
So here it was. We have a mayor that was pushing for in public schools something that a lot of people didn't agree with. That I'm not really sure we can talk. I don't know what the TOS is, but and it was.
Don't say slurs. That's simple.
Look, you guys. I've already been yelled at once. I'm not going to get yelled at again. So at any rate, what ended up happening was the community said no. And then we got, obviously that led to a bunch of court issues, and it became actually pretty famous down here. But that's one instance. I'm in a small town, relatively small, of where when we put these Democrats in place, they also turn authoritarian as well.
Okay, so, but the authoritarianism is because the mayor didn't have the authority to do what?
Yeah, it should have gone through the school board. There's like a whole process to do that.
Okay, now let's say we grant that. Like, compare that to the alleged president of the United States using his power to order the
He's
Department
not
of Justice.
alleged.
to
He
go
is
after-
the president.
I don't think he's a legitimate president because of the 14th Amendment, but let's put that beside us. So let's say the alleged president orders the political prosecution of James Comey. Between those two, which do you think is more authoritarian?
If he ordered the prosecution of James Comey, if he actually said
Political prosecution. Yes,
a
he did.
political prosecution,
Yeah.
that's a very defined
8647. Remember that one? Got indicted for 8647.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Yeah.
what is 86?
Because Trump-
Just to be fair, I think it's stupid. But let's
Yeah,
can we
I
just
thought
be
that
honest?
was-
Can we just be honest? We all know what
That is pretty
86
stupid.
means, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is
You
pretty
can go to the
Okay.
dictionary and it doesn't mean kill.
I mean, well, okay, peace, go. All right, I don't know. You might, maybe you've been like rich your whole life. Some
and,
of us,
and even
some
if
of-
it did,
hold on,
no,
hold on.
I was a bartender.
Okay,
I
okay.
was
So
in
you
the
know,
food
so
industry,
okay,
yeah.
all right. So then you know what 86 means in the food industry, right?
Get rid of, to toss out.
Get rid of the talk. All right, that's fair. That's not usually how I would see it translated, but I just want to hear you say it. I agree it was dumb and not. It was not
Okay,
something she would
not
not
just
do.
dumb, corrupt. He goes on Truth Social and orders his Department of Justice to find something to charge James Comey with. It's disgusting, and we're over here talking
But you're a
about.
lawyer, you know,
I
you can
think,
charge a ham
something
sandwich.
about drag
Yeah.
story hour and the mayor.
Come on,
and,
brother. How many
he had to go
felonies
to
does the average
school
person commit in a
board.
day? 3? Isn't that the red?
Well,
3?
now,
The average person commits 3 felonies in a day, like accidentally, not even knowing. Isn't that a thing?
yeah,
Like, come
So
on,
you guys aren't even willing to grant. You guys aren't
I'm
even
willing to
willing
grant. I just
that that's
granted
an
it to you.
author-
I thought it was stupid.
No,
and bad.
what have we
granted
not
that it
been
was
willing to
stupid.
grant? What have I not been
granted
willing?
you granted it was stupid. It's a fucking authoritarian overreach. It's a political prosecution.
If I say go find something,
If you use your official power for political ends, you would agree abuse of power, right?
If I use my authority
Yes or
for a
no?
political end,
Yeah. No,
I mean, isn't that
prejudice
what
someone-
literally every politician does?
No. If you use the prosecution authority for political ends.
Oh, prosecution
that's-
authority. Okay.
Yes.
Because it sounded like you said political. I apologize.
Yeah. So if you prosecute, for example, political enemies, that's a problem, isn't it? That's authoritarian.
I mean, it could be.
It could.
I don't agree with. I don't agree with Trump going after Comey. I think that there were things he could have gone after Comey for legitimately.
Because we don't take you guys seriously because you won't even grant that like most obvious forms of both corruption and authoritarianism are those things. Like you guys can't even recognize corruption or authoritarianism if it bit you on the face, and so that's why you like the people who think like you need to be purged peacefully and patriotically out of power. It's disgusting.
I'll run for office. Don't worry about it.
Let me take it from a center perspective because I think I agree with the hypocriticalness here coming from people on the right arguing about why the DSA is dangerous. So I'll ask Vince and Vigi and Pisco this, but let's say in my hypothetical that I laid out earlier, where you have a Dem trifecta, they have the House by 15, 20 seats, they have a 4-seat Senate majority, and the presidency, right? Is there a situation though where somebody is running on the left who during a midterm Republicans can use to spread their message as a reason why Democrats are going to ruin the social fabric? I mean, we have Democrats who have said, or Democratic Socialists who have said they want to abolish prisons. They don't believe in prosecuting crimes, like actual crimes. And so these are things that can actually harm the long-term vision of a Democratic Party. I'm not saying that all Democratic Socialists are bad, but I think there are people and insurgents coming in from the left that can harm the party long-term. And I think if you do have a safe enough majority, these are types of people, if they win a primary election and they don't get defeated in a primary, because we were talking like the primary is a time where those people should be able to lose. But if they do come out and win, are those people from your positions, should they be voted out if you had to vote for a Republican? That's what I would ask you guys.
No, I mean, I don't think if you're convinced by that based on how you phrased that question and based on how you phrased your position, it's kind of like unclear to you whether or not the associated brand or reputational risk is worth installing, for example, a MAGA Republican as Wisconsin governor. That was the discourse.
Well, because in this case, there are, let's say there are moderate Republicans, whether you believe them or not, like a Brian Fitzpatrick in Pennsylvania, who has voted for, especially in the case recently with Iran, where they wanted to make sure that the War Powers Act was voted on. So there are people who have voted against things that Donald Trump wants, and there are people who live in these districts where if you're running in a district that is that blue and you're a Republican, you have to moderate. There's no way you can be running as a MAGA politician.
Would he vote for impeachment? Would he vote for? I mean, that's essentially my metric. If whether or not you're moderate is whether or not you're instantly willing to call on the impeachment and resignation of the alleged president. Anything less.
Well,
than
there were Republicans that did call for the impeachment.
Yeah, they're all fucking gone except for Murkowski and Collins. But even then,
right. But I'm saying, would you vote for somebody along those lines?
No.
But you just said if they voted.
Not in this environment. No, that's just my indication of moderate in this context is willing to immediately call for Trump to resign and be impeached. That's just for moderate. But I would pick a DSA member over a moderate Republican in the current context. And the reason for that is because the moderate Republicans, like Murkowski and Collins, alleged, are cucks. And notwithstanding the fact that they sometimes will do these performative votes, they don't have the guts it takes to get our country back from these thugs.
Yeah, I want to say.
Oh, sorry, go for it.
I was going to say real quick. I just want to make this known. I would say it's situationally dependent. All right, because for example, I could see a hypothetical scenario, maybe not in the near future, but a situation in which the DSA is starting to gain power, in which I wouldn't want to enable that power. In that hypothetical scenario, I probably wouldn't vote for a DSA member. But in today's society, would I vote for them if they reached after the primary and they eventually did come out? And depending on the district, 9 times out of 10, I would probably say it's probably best. Now, do you go out and phone bank for them? Do you go out and door knock for them? Do you do all of that? That's up to you and your comfort level. I myself probably would not. Would I say that if you were up against, say, somebody like Ken Paxton in Texas versus a DSA member, again, it's an equation to me. Right now, there is, for every one DSA member you have, and again, they're winning at the local level, you're going to have 1,000 others. But I also want to acknowledge that we should still call them out for their beliefs, and we should engage with that. And I want to emphasize that. Again,
Okay, hold
during
on, Vince. I'm sorry. Which beliefs? When you say call them out for their beliefs, which beliefs?
like
Prison
abolishing,
abolition shit.
yeah, probably like
Abolish prisons,
things
abolish
like
the
that.
police, that kind of shit.
Yeah,
Like I'm fairly close to the DSA politically, and I don't even believe in that shit.
Call them
Yeah.
out for their stupid shit, but it's not close to the enablers of this crazy fucking shit. And I'm gonna be honest with you, people like Fitzpatrick, people like Mike Lawler, they're just losers. I mean, they will almost always support Trump, and when they do vote against it, it's either a local issue or it's a performative vote, which doesn't matter. And I mean, they were willing to go along on the Epstein Files Transparency Act until the discharge petition happened. Only then were they willing to buck Trump. And so it gives you a sense of like how cucked all these Republicans are. They're really under his sway and control. And so I'm not going to enable that. And I'm not going to be like cowed into being afraid for, the abolishment of private property. That shit ain't going to happen. We're not going to get rid of the police, and these people aren't going to effectuate that. And so even if I was, concerned that they're not going to moderate or collaborate, I'm just not scared of them being able to effectuate the ends that you guys are all fear mongering about.
But I mean, you would have said this, or I would have said the same thing about Trump. The things that he's done that I don't like, I would have said the exact same shit that you're saying right now. So you really are not. You're not helping me here. I think that you are blinded by your hatred, vitriol, and assumptions about the Republican Party going forward. We're the Republican Party in general.
The parties are different. Yeah, the parties are different. What did you think that Trump was not going to be able to do because he was?
Well, I mean,
sort of like
let me. I guess I should have made my position on Trump clear from the start, right?
Yeah.
To me, Trump's a moderate. He was the most conservative person we could get elected. He was like literally the best we could do. That like there wasn't like everybody else is just everything shifted so far left that center is now right. There are no truly conservative. I haven't seen a truly conservative candidate in a minute. And so maybe that's why I don't really. I mean, I'm not surprised by anything Trump does. He's a moderate.
You probably think anything to the left of General Franco is a moderate. I don't know. Like, what do you take to be a conservative? You don't think that George Bush was conservative?
I think he had some conservative viewpoints. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I guess you're just using that term in a kind of like, I don't know, where the center of gravity is Pinochet or something, or like Hitler.
Well, also, Grid, to be honest, like I don't think anybody here is going to be able to convince you to vote for a socialist or a Democrat over a Republican, but like I don't even know if you could name one Democrat right now that you would say you'd be willing to vote for, even if they're considered.
Oh, that's not true. I think. I mean, I don't live in Pennsylvania, but I think Shapiro is not a bad guy. I think
you would vote for Josh Shapiro.
Well, you like
Josh Shapiro?
Yeah, I think he says some pretty smart things sometimes. I think he's a little further left. But if it was a choice between Josh Shapiro and Mondami, it would be Shapiro every fucking time.
No, that's not it. No, it's him or Mastriano, or him or some Republican like Rubio or something.
I'll let him answer real quick, and then we're gonna go to Glenn because I believe he's got a shit here. Go ahead, Glenn, to answer that question.
Oh, I mean, no, Shapiro versus Rubio. No, Rubio, 100%.
Okay, that's yeah.
Glenn, are you with us now? Glenn. The conservatives are really letting me down. I want y'all to know, this is a big L for y'all boys today. So far, I need you to step it up.
It was the thumb drives, dude.
The thumb drive.
The thumb drive. The magic thumb drive.
They got it. It was an earworm that got in there. Glenn, you're unmuted now. Are you here with us?
I'm here. Sorry about that.
All right. Give us your thoughts on why they should vote the incumbents out and vote Republican.
Well, easy. I mean, because like just look at the agenda that they're pushing a very un-American agenda. It's very, very much, communistic, very much, just anti-American. And like, I mean, even like the propaganda from like, oh, we got to accept these Muslims. Let's bring these Muslims in. This is a good thing. That is un-American. Like, you're gonna let these people outpopulate us. Like, like we have a birth rate issue. We should be like encouraging Americans having children and bring up American kids, not importing, other families and other cultures in here that don't agree with our culture. It just ruins the American culture altogether.
All right, Glenn.
We
None of
divorce
that is
all the Muslims?
communism. None of that is communism that you just said. That's just
No,
things you
but they
don't
have
like.
very communistic views of things.
All right, but what's the communistic view?
Well, like democratic socialism, like the whole, like they want the government to run everything. What happened to the free market?
What
Okay, but
what
so
are
you
the
know that?
Markets.
Okay,
So
hold on.
Who's getting
'cause
rid of markets?
I live in New York, and I am run by.
Do you like that? Do you like that grocery store system you guys got going on out there?
What? Yeah, I was gonna say. Tell me the grocery store system because I
There's
just
still
went to the
I don't know,
grocery
I
store
don't live in New
today.
York.
What the
I still
fuck are
pay
you
for my
talking
groceries.
about? The
I literally went
grocery
to the
store
grocery
system,
store
like,
today and bought groceries.
what are you talking about? You don't live
Wait,
here.
hold on. You guys both live in New York, Pisco and Castle.
Well, yeah, but right now I'm in Japan. But yes,
Okay.
We need your street
Japan.
address. We need your street address, and I need your.
No, we do not.
Social-
I do not want to know. I mean, I haven't been to New York in about a year, but we have a house in Jersey City right across from Manhattan.
Nice.
And we used
It
to.
must be good to be rich.
yeah. You should. They really changed things. You should come back. The hammer and sickle is hanging over all of the fucking bodegas. It's all crazy.
Well, we had we were renting an apartment in what they call Tudor City. I'm not sure if you're
That's
familiar with it.
fantastic. I don't give a fuck about this. Let's talk about the topic. How about Glenn? Why else should they vote? Here, other than the grocery
I
store
was going to
system.
talk about the.
I want to hear
massive-
more about the grocery store.
Yeah,
system.
yeah,
Like,
like,
yeah. Like
what's
Grid
so
Talk.
what's so crazy about what
Yeah.
the source system is like in New York?
Why is the government getting involved in the grocery system?
Why not?
Really? Like why do we need the government? Why do we need government grocery stores?
It
They think it's going to be a
is-
fun idea, a fun little experiment.
Oh,
Why
that's
not do
fun.
it?
It's fun as an
Yeah,
experiment.
it's fun.
like
Yeah.
like stomping on capitalism, stomping on the free market is fun.
They could compete. There's tons of private stores. What are you talking about? It's like a shop per borough that they want to do.
I think that's
Do
dumb.
you not think that do you not think that having a public grocery store will help incentivize private grocery stores to bring their prices down?
No.
Trump is talking about putting
You know
price
what?
ceilings on food and shit and like doing price controls, and you're over here being like, no, not a single grocery store that's owned by the government. Who cares? They own they own stores when it comes to like military bases and stuff. The government can sometimes own shit. Doesn't make it communism. That's
Can I ask you
diluting the
guys-
term communism.
Do y'all, for the Republicans on the panel, do you believe when Obama issued 22 national emergencies that was,
You were just-
authoritarian?
Well, I know it's supposed to bother, but you were just complaining about Trump making a national emergency.
Well, I'm asking the Republicans on the panel. Do you think
Oh.
Obama issuing 22 national emergencies, Obama issuing those, do you think that was, authoritarianism?
Weren't they in response to like actual national emergencies like fire and tornadoes and floods and shit?
As opposed
so-
to fake emergencies like the voter emergency, whatever that
Yeah,
is.
by the way, the 22 national emergencies are how many Donald Trump has done, not Obama. I just wanted to throw that out there, by the way.
Whoa, nice.
I was going to
That
say
was
no.
nice.
I was going to say no. It's not authoritarian because it's already been precedent.
Give
The
it
legal
some of
precedent.
it.
Yeah,
do,
I
but
mean,
that's-
I was
I'm
curious
lying.
why you were talking about that, because I mean, if it's an actual emergency, then it's not authoritarian, is it?
No, so a lot of Donald
that's what
Trump's
FEMA's about.
a lot of Donald Trump's national emergencies, those 22, there was 11 that were done in the first term, all 4 years. He, in 1 year and a half of his second term, a year and a half, have already surpassed his first term by 11 national emergencies. A bulk of those being tariffs. He tried to find in like a bunch of different ways to try to subvert Congress's power to levy taxes. And
illegal taxes. Wait,
Yes.
can we pause there? What do you guys think about that? He levied
Yep.
illegal taxes, which increased the price of goods, it has a direct effect on inflation, and he's not stopped trying to re-implement shit like that. And by the way, while he does it, all of his cronies bet right before the tariff hits and make out like fucking bandits.
So I haven't actually thought about the tariffs in over a year. So the last thing that I really cared about the tariffs were that we were actually having an effect on China and bringing them back to the table, and that was where I kind of stopped paying attention to the tariffs. So I don't really have an up-to-date opinion on it. So
Yeah,
Illegal
China never came to
taxes?
the
You don't have an
table.
opinion on that?
I mean, Grit, do you like paying more for goods now, over a year later, and prices aren't deflating at all? They're still pretty high.
And I want to say, oh, good.
I mean, if I'm honest, I haven't actually noticed that I'm paying a ton more for anything except maybe fuel.
Well, and I want to mention too
Maybe
that
fuel.
it's interesting too that that what Trump is doing is also defeating the idea of trickle down economics, right? He just gave a ton of refunds to these corporate places. And the argument behind trickle down economics is that will trickle down to the consumer. And they have actually done quite the opposite. Not only did they get the large refund, they're saying, hey, we're going to literally right after the refund, there was companies coming out saying, we're going to continue to increase our prices. I believe it was Apple that may have come out and done that. And they got a big refund from that. So it's funny to me that he's also kind of inadvertently showing how trickle down economics just doesn't work, which is a big Republican talking point.
All right. Wait, you just said that he was ruining trickle down economics. And then you said that's proof that it doesn't work because he ruined it. So if he ruined it, that means it was working before.
No. No, I'm saying he showed in real time how it does not work. Not that it was working before. It just shows before we had to kind of make these vague arguments about tax refunds and tax cuts and how tax cuts can somehow trickle down. And there was a lot of vagueness to it. Here we're seeing a literal direct refund in cold, hard cash to these businesses. And they are not passing down a single penny to the consumer.
Glenn, thoughts?
I'd have to look into.
I have to look into that more before I can say anything about
How
that.
be
is
honest
this
with you-
something that you
to be
guys
honest-
don't
hold on.
know about? Seriously, though, this is a joke. It
It is not a joke. I mean, look,
dude. The tariffs have been
again,
around
tariffs
for
haven't been on my
over a
radar.
year now.
I'm okay. Every other country in the
You
world.
gotta
Hold
pay
on.
for things.
It's the Muslims.
Sorry.
The Muslims are infected our culture, bro, and the trans
Literally
story
every other
hour,
country
like,
tariffs
it's their
us.
fucking-
It's part of their economy. We seem to be okay with it, except when we do it to someone else.
I know,
That's
but it's just
odd.
it's frustrating because other
okay.
countries tariff us, and that's bad for their economy. So why would we want to follow what they're doing with tariffs if their economy is not as great as
Do you
our
know? Do you know why? I mean, do you know why they do that?
For protection,
Different
it's
reasons.
protectionism.
To some degree, yeah. You know what it does is that it makes our goods cost a whole lot there, so people don't buy them, so they
Right, so
buy
they
internal
can't- so
goods.
they can't
Hold on,
afford
I'm
them
not done.
there.
I'm not done. So I honestly support the idea of tariffs, and I have for a very long time, long before Trump, because you guys probably don't remember this. I'm old and beat up, so I do. The entire reason that the Japanese car company were able to prosper here in America was because of tariffs. They tariffed the shit out of American goods, almost 100%, in some cases more, on American-made cars coming into Japan. They also passed a bunch of laws that made our cars have to meet ridiculous standards to be sold there. On the other hand, what we did, which fucked American workers left, right, and center, was we gave them subsidies. We gave them land tax-free for decades, and we literally undermined our own automotive industry through what you're talking about, which is in no tariffs and not having people do that. So what you guys are talking about actually fuck the American economy, and tariffs actually work. So maybe if you actually got behind what Trump says and actually participated instead of just whining about it, maybe you would get somewhere. But unfortunately, we can't do that because you've got to sit there and say, well, it's not going to work, so let's not do it anymore. But yeah, it did work fucking great for Japan and Germany. That's why Mercedes-Benz costs as much as they do here, and they cost half as much in the rest of the world.
Great. You do realize that helped the American economy because it made jobs here, right?
No, it did not. It took jobs
Yes, it
away
did.
from here. That's insane. We literally offshored.
literally
We
one
offshored
of
our
the
automotive
biggest
production because of that.
You do realize that Toyota specifically, right, is one of the biggest automotive manufacturers in like my area of the country in Ohio, there's a
Yes, and what did it cost us? What did it cost us?
Well, we've only had about a couple 100,000 jobs in the past year and a half, and a large bulk of that is in healthcare and in government. Where we're seeing in manufacturing and the one you're talking about, we've seen a massive decline. But that's not because of Democratic policies. That's because of Donald Trump's tariff policy, adding extra taxes onto the businesses.
The automotive manufacturing is slowly coming back to America. Yeah, absolutely, through foreign countries. But only because we subsidize them. Only because we pay them to do that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's not necessarily benefiting us if we're having to pay them to do it.
What do you mean with who are we paying to do anything? Sorry, what?
These foreign countries, these foreign.
Well, the foreign corporation, Toyota, for example, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, they're building I think it's built now. Well, they built a Mercedes factory in Alabama. They gave them, I think they're not charging them any taxes, and they've made it a
it's like a tax abatement or something.
Well, it's
like how
no, they
Trump
just
got in Manhattan.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not just an abatement. They've become their own customs center, so they don't pay customs on the materials and parts that they import directly into their factory. There's a lot of aspects into this. And I'm just picking on the automotive. I mean, there's other areas of our country where these policies, these no tariff, everybody gets to tariff us, we don't get to tariff them, works against us.
You know how you bring these manufacturing jobs back into the country? You do it through things like the CHIPS Act that Biden passed, where it helped build the infrastructure in order to bring the semiconductor manufacturing to America. Like that's
no, hold on. Isn't the CHIPS Act the one where we offshored the chips to Taiwan and that fucked us in COVID?
No, we're building chip factories here in the U.S.
Yeah,
because we offshored the factory in California that made the chips in America was offshored to Taiwan either right as or shortly before COVID happened. And that fucked us in chip
production. The CHIPS Act was about building chip factories in the U.S. grid, not about offshoring anything. So that may have been something else. But I'm confused.
Well, maybe they're trying to bring it back.
Industry. So you're saying that
the CHIPS Act was bringing it back. The purpose of the CHIPS Act was to bring it back.
But Grid, you were saying with the automotive industry that we're subsidizing foreign investment in the U.S., but we also have tariffs at the same time that you said we're supposed to bring domestic car manufacturing back. So we have tariffs that aren't bringing car manufacturing back, but we're also investing in foreign companies to
what do you mean?
have their cars built here. I don't get what you're saying.
What are you talking about? During the height of the tariffs, literally Toyota announced a new plant to be built. I think VW, one of the Euro companies, VW.
You were saying that we're paying foreign companies to build cars here.
Yeah, well, they're also now they're having them because of the tariffs and because of the things that are no longer because we're no longer in the 1990s or early 2000s. They were having to pay, and they were paying good money. I want to say that it was like I'd have to look it up. But I think the Toyota deal was something like, I don't know, $800 million or something injected into the local economy.
I don't get the so what here and the connection to fucking communists. The point about the tariffs is, in addition to them being, I think, generally horrible for our country economically, and you at least admitting that you have no evidence to suggest they were beneficial, is that they were fucking illegal. Even if they were great ideas, Trump illegally levied tariffs, and he's continuing to try to do it. And these are the kind of actions that spurred our framers, right, the founding fathers, to take some action. No taxation without representation. That's why, among other reasons, that they put the taxing authority within the Congress, so there could be democratic oversight there. And just having Trump willy-nilly.
So you think being dependent upon China is a good thing? Because that's really what the tariffs did. It pushed away.
I didn't say that.
But that's what I'm saying. The tariffs helped push the supply chain away from China. It gives America leverage, right?
You claim that it's a safeguard against China. And listen, I'm not against targeted tariffs in some capacity to.
Okay, then so you don't have a problem with tariffs.
No, I obviously do. So why don't you let me finish my fucking sentence? So it's not just that he did tariffs against China. He was tariffing our fucking allies. He was tariffing the EU. He was having problems with
Yeah,
people who
because
should be
having
supporting against
access to
China
America
because he's a madman. He's a madman who doesn't care about shit.
You think everybody should have access to the American market? No, that's a privilege. It's
I
not an
never said that. That's a
entitlement.
straw man.
It's not an entitlement. It's a privilege. It could be negotiated.
He is not being able to
Wait,
render
you
anything
support
with
the free market?
negotiations of substance. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, I was to say you support the free market, right? If another country's building better products, like there are a couple Chinese products specifically that are better than certain American products. Like China's electric cars are significantly better than Tesla. Like if they're building a better product, shouldn't it be able to compete in the free market?
Yeah, but if you want to compete in American market, then you should have to, play by our rules.
So there's two notes on this that I want to mention that are, well, three, and I'll make it quick.
Yeah, then we'll go to peace.
One is that I'll make it real quick. So one of them is that it's interesting because we talk about taxes and how we've kind of gotten an inadvertent admission here that taxes kind of do it. The second thing is that the issue is not so much that a tariff has been levied, although that is somewhat of a problem. The issue here is who levies taxes? It's Congress.
The president can levy tariffs under specific conditions. I mean, you're saying that. I mean, I like you guys just say global shit. I listen to it because I want to hear. I want to see where you're going with it.
The reciprocal tariffs. Those tariffs. Those are the
ones. The very specific ones that as soon as they ruled them illegal, he stopped doing them and he replaced them with the 10% tariffs under section 230.
Those are also legal. Those are also legal under the statutory.
No, tariffs under section 232 and section 301 unfair trade practice have been repeatedly
and
they're legal. Why are you guys being so disingenuous? Why do you have to? Why can you not just say, yeah, some tariffs were good, some tariffs were bad, which is what I said.
Okay,
why can't you do that?
So what's the disingenuousness? We believe these tariffs are blatantly illegal and unconstitutional.
Believe is irrelevant. I'm not a pastor. I want to know the facts. The court ruled. The court made a ruling. You believing is irrelevant.
Hold on, Grid. All right, you let Peace go. Make your point, Peace, and then we'll go back to you, Grid.
In virtue of their obvious illegality and in virtue of the Supreme Court ruling, these tariffs were illegal. Now he's implementing new tariffs that are illegal for other reasons, and we can provide the legal analysis for that. In addition to some of the procedural,
have they been ruled illegal?
They're going through the courts in virtue of some of the procedural, prerequisites not being met there. But the whole point is, this motherfucker doesn't care if they're legal or not. He doesn't care whether or not it's legal or illegal to try to withdraw birthright citizenship. He doesn't care whether it's legal or illegal to, implement by fiat election rules. He doesn't give a fuck. He is enriching himself. He's taking Qatar airplane bribes. He's enriching himself on crypto deals. And you guys are like missing the forest for the trees. The guy's a fucking corrupt asshole. We need him out of power.
But what has that got to do with you putting DSA fuckers in?
All right, they're going to vote to impeach this motherfucker. They're going to vote to impeach this motherfucker.
That was the third point I was going to make. It's interesting to me that the idea around communism is that it's going to be government control when we're sitting here and we are the ones, the left is saying, hey, we don't want the president to make unilateral actions and take those away from Congress to go in and levy taxes on the citizens of America. And we have the Republicans here saying, yeah, sometimes the president can kind of take power away from Congress and levy taxes upon his own executive.
We're not saying that. The law says that. I'm not saying that. The law says that. The law says literally in this case he can do that.
So, Grid, do you agree then that the president is okay to sit here and take power away from Congress to now?
But that's not taking power away from Congress if it's the law. If it's the fucking law.
It isn't. No. So the tariffs that he's trying to enact now, many of them, by the way, I think are going to be totally cooked in the courts based on some of the requirements here. And
you
also
believe, you think that's a feeling. That's not proof yet.
Guess what? I also thought that of the Liberation Day tariffs, and guess what? I was fucking right. You guys don't.
Well, just because you were right, a broken clock is right twice a day.
Well, look, I just
what you're saying is it possible that peace goes wrong? Yes, it's possible. But
all right. So if you're saying they're illegal, that means it's been decided that it's illegal.
Really?
The law
so if someone rapes your mother, well,
then that would have been a real thing. That would have happened, right? If somebody says, I'm really mad and I might do this.
So why don't we pause real quick? Because you just said it has to be ruled illegal for it to be illegal. So we're dealing with that. If someone raped your mother in front of you, would that be illegal without a court ruling?
Is there a law saying that it can happen?
Answer the fucking question.
I am.
Is rape
Is
illegal?
there a
yes or
law
no?
that says it can happen?
Is rape against the law? Yes or no?
Of course.
And if someone raped your mom in front of you, would it be illegal without a court ruling to that effect?
Well, I mean, personally, a person would be dead.
Answer the question.
It would be illegal. However,
Yeah, so we need a fucking
there's a
court
law
ruling,
against this.
dipshit.
There's a clear law against it, and there's a clear law that says Trump can put the tariffs in place. And do you not know? I mean, I know you know them by heart. Section 232, Section 301.
So I don't know.
Well, then you don't know. Then you don't know.
Analyzed,
Then you don't know.
You just said you don't know the laws by heart. I don't know.
No, I said
chapter and
I
verse.
don't expect you to know them by heart.
I understand,
but you're sitting
I
there
understand
talking
some of
about
the
them like you
issues.
do.
I understand some of the issues related to those tariffs, and those include the purpose of the tariffs. There's a requirement that it be for specific purposes, which aren't the purposes that are being sort of uttered by the administration. And then there's a time limit on those tariffs as well, which he's not going to be in compliance with. So those are the some of the issues there, and there's more that make these tariffs illegal. And you're like, well, it hasn't been finally adjudicated before the Supreme Court yet.
But as of right now, they are legal. It's a process crime. It's not raping someone's mother. It's literally just saying it's, hey.
Whether something is legal is whether it's in compliance with the law or not. And one can make
currently
legality.
Currently apparently it is.
So if Obama tried to take away everyone's guns and institute Sharia law in the first day, would you say it's illegal on that first day if he tried to do that? Sharia law, gun, stealing. Would you say that's illegal?
Is there a law that says he can do that?
No, of course.
Is there Section 232 of the code somewhere that says he can do that?
No,
there isn't. No, there isn't. Why are you fighting this? Just say, look, right now, it's fucking legal. If it goes through the court and it's not legal, then Trump's bad. Why not just say that?
So Obama cites in bad faith a provision of law that says, oh, this is I'm allowed to faithfully execute the law. Faithfully executing the law means Sharia law. That's how I'm interpreting it. And so sue me. Would you say that's illegal?
There's no such law that could allow him to do that.
He says, yeah, Article 2, inherent in my Article 2 authorities is to execute the law. And by law here, we mean Sharia law. Therefore, I'm executing the Sharia law. Would you say legal or illegal? Answer the question.
I don't think
Answer the question. You fucking cunt.
I don't think Article 2 says that.
You don't believe? You don't think?
Well, I'd have to go look. I'd have to go look.
You think it's possible that him saying that, oh, execute the law, Sharia law?
But people have tried that, right?
That's legal?
People have tried that, right?
People have tried what? What are you talking about? Answer the question. Would you say it's illegal? Would you say it's illegal or not? Would you say it's illegal if he said, I'm interpreting the law under Article 2 to be Sharia law? Sue me. Would you say it's illegal? Or would you say, oh, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait before I comment on the Sharia law stuff?
I would think it'd be very clearly illegal.
Oh, you would think that, right? Because it's obviously not in compliance with the law, and you wouldn't wait for a fucking court order or a final adjudication on the merits before you'd say so.
But when it's literally the letter of the law.
Yeah, so it's clearly in violation, in my view, of these additional tariffs. Now, if you want to have a debate about that, that's cool. But at a bare minimum, the Liberation Day tariffs and his willingness to do clearly illegal tariffs and clearly illegal other shit, by the way, too, foreign emoluments, political prosecutions, all sorts of bullshit, shows that the guy doesn't care about the law. He is a reckless and malicious actor within the government that needs to be purged peacefully and patriotically. I don't mean anything illegal, through democracy. That's why he's so bad, and that's why I don't give a fuck. I would vote for a DSA member over a Trump person any day of the week.
Can I ask, out of curiosity, to the Republicans on the panel to kind of move the conversation forward a little bit here? Do we believe that utilizing the military on their citizens is a form of communism?
What?
Utilizing the military on its citizens, do you believe that that is a form of
I don't believe that's a form of communism. I think every government in the histories at some point had to do that.
Do you think it's authoritarian?
It can be. It can be totalitarian. Well,
so what are your thoughts? I'll just skip over it because you're playing good. I'll give you that. You're playing good, Grit. I'll give it to you. I'm not going to be able to get gotchas on this one. Would you say that Trump utilizing the Marines on their U.S. citizens is authoritarian?
authoritarian, maybe not totalitarian. I would have to look at the specific instance, but I don't know that it's totalitarian, which is, I think, what you're really driving at.
Yeah. So what happened is that there was those protests that were taking place, ICE protests specifically. Trump then, Trump, along with Pete Hegseth, ended up ushering first the National Guard and then the military, specifically the Marines, up to Los Angeles to work alongside the National Guard, so much so that a judge had to step in and specifically say that it was a violation of posse comitatus, and specifically that particular violation, which again I would say is authoritarian.
What were the Marines doing
when
exactly?
we talk, the Marines were. Hold on one second.
The Marines are at his door, apparently.
Hold on one second.
It's all good.
Sorry about that.
You guys don't
No.
think that Trump is okay, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I wrapped it up. The National Guard ended up going up there for protests to try to quell protests and things like that. And so that is what they were doing. Now they were going in. Oh, that's what I lost my train of thought. Marines were assisting the National Guard in detaining certain U.S. citizens, which is where there was an infamous picture there of a U.S. citizen with his hands behind his back with two Marines standing next to him. And I believe that might have been the one that the courts were specifically looking at. But we saw that happening. I also use this point, by the way, anytime they say it, the left likes to be lawless. We've seen where there's been numerous felony convictions and misdemeanors. But anyways.
Pizza, you were saying
It violates posse
Yeah.
comitatus. Yeah. I mean, like, it's just. I don't think you guys even think that Trump is, blatantly violating the law. That he is doing like corrupt shit and enriching himself. Like, do you guys doubt that he's doing these crypto deals and the insider trading, selling the Truth Social posts ahead of time so that people can like trade on that stuff? This is like disgusting. Like, he's using the office that is supposed to be held in trust for all of you like assholes, and he's using it to just enrich himself, and you guys are clapping along, and like, you don't give a fuck about that. You don't care about the corruption. Like, this is the kind of stuff that our founding fathers were most concerned about. Someone using the office.
Did you have much
to enrich
concern
themselves.
about the corruption? Do you have as much concern about the corruption when the Democrats were doing corrupt shit?
Yeah, name it.
Okay, so
What's
you
the
had no
corruption?
problem with the open border policies
name
that
it.
were under Biden?
Wait. So you take open borders.
I'm
first of all.
asking you. I'm asking. Do you have a problem? Did you have the problem?
There was
with
never
the
open borders. Never open borders. Never open borders.
Oh,
Not
okay,
corrupt.
so they-
Never
we
open
did not
borders. Not
process-
corrupt.
How many
Never
people
open
were
borders. Not
allowed
corrupt.
illegally?
The
in
question isn't on
United States?
hypocrisy. Yeah. So
No,
I'll
I'm
deal with.
just
We can go to
asking you.
immigration.
Did
We can go to immigration if you want, but first answer the question: is he
No,
corrupt with
answer
all of
my
these deals?
question, 'cause I'm the
Yeah,
one
I'm happy
asking
to
you
do
the
that.
question.
I asked it first, so
No,
you
didn't
answer
ask
me
it
first.
All right.
So
Here's
I
what we
answer your-
do. Hold on. We'll have this. Then you haven't talked about. Why don't you answer this question first, and then I'll make Peace go answer your question. Go
No,
ahead.
I'll answer first. What's your
then you
question?
can- okay. Peace go. Then
I
you
asked
can
the
go.
question. I said, did you have the same problem when the Democratic party was actually allowing all these crimes, like allowing the illegal immigration issues that we were having? Did you have the same problem with that? Because that was against the law.
It's a loaded question, right? So the question
It's
is
not loaded. It was a crime. It's against the law.
I'll answer.
You have to let him answer.
So
You have to
I'll
let him
answer.
answer. There you go.
So the reason it's a loaded question is it assumes as part of its predicate that Democrats were, quote, allowing crimes, by which you're implying that they're trying to further crimes, that they want crimes to occur, or that they are like just ignoring immigration law, which of course is not true, and you can't find an instance of it
So you're
other than the
saying
fact
that
that immigration
sanctuary cities
that
are
violations
not-
of law did occur.
Sanctuary cities are not allowing illegals in there knowingly.
No, sanctuary city policies have nothing to do. Repeat with letting
Is it illegal
immigration.
to?
immigrants.
Is it illegal to
It's
come
not
to the United
illegal,
States?
no.
You're saying it's not
Wait,
illegal to come to the United States through the
Are you talking about sanctuary
border?
cities or? No, it is illegal to cross the border.
Okay, so when they
in
cross
place
the
without-
border,
Wait,
then
let me
they
answer. Wait, let me
committed
answer the.
crimes.
sorry,
One at a time,
let me
one at a time.
let me answer the question. Let me answer the question. So, what is illegal is crossing the border without inspection and admission. That is illegal,
Okay, so
and
did
it is
they-
a crime.
did they break that
Wait,
law?
Wait,
So they-
but what's not illegal?
Let
What is
me
not
pick-
illegal
you go talking
is
over there.
establishing a sanctuary city. It's not illegal to do that.
So
Fine.
when
Okay, go ahead.
when they break the law coming in here illegally, and then they
Yeah.
travel to all these states and they go to a sanctuary city state that the Democrats are running, you're saying that the Democrats are not wrong for letting them stay there illegally. They're not here illegally.
So,
Well, before you
So
answer,
the
Peace, I
Democrats-
just want to make something clear, guys,
Yeah.
because this happened a lot.
I'm
If
happy to-
you, I know,
I
you're
understand
good.
immigration
No,
law.
I understand that, but just for housekeeping, if you ask them a question, unless it's like obviously rhetorical, I'm going to give them the mic because you're giving up the mic. So you ask that, just know you're giving up your talking time. Because it seems a few people will be confused about that. All right, go ahead, Peace God. I apologize for breaking in there.
Yeah. So number one, the state governments here don't have the authority to deport even if they wanted to. What's more, they cannot be commandeered by the federal government. There's case law, Supreme Court on that. And so there's nothing inconsistent with the position that, notwithstanding that illegality occurred by private persons, that it's not illegal for Democrats to have sanctuary city policies. There's no contradiction there. You haven't identified it, and therefore you failed at showing any kind of like encouragement of illegal acts, let alone corruption, which is to say that there's like some sort of like personal motive or personal financial motive going on here, or some additional improper purpose here. So you failed. Now I want to ask the question. Can I ask my question, because there was a deal here, right?
Yeah.
So my question was: Do you acknowledge that these crypto deals, that the Truth Social, posts that you get early access to, that all of this shit regarding the plane, that all of this is corrupt as fuck? Would you acknowledge that?
I can't say that it is corrupt because I haven't been proven yet. It has not been proven. Could it be corrupt?
Look, if it's true, it is corrupt. I mean, if it is true, it's corrupt.
If it is true,
do you doubt that he's enriching himself? Are you guys you guys are still the easiest marks of all time? You doubt that he's using his office to enrich himself?
Can you prove that he is?
The reports came out.
Can you prove
of course, 100.
Okay, all right, great. When are you taking the court exactly?
Oh, this is your okay. So I'll ask the question again. If someone rapes your mother, right, in front of you,
no, I'm serious. You can prove. You just said he's doing it. You just said that you can prove it.
Because we're watching
why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you taking the court?
Because we're watching it. Because we're watching it. That's how we can prove it. It doesn't require a court case for us to see him doing the corrupt stuff in real time. And you guys are ignoring it. You're like doing the little smug face. Was there a DOJ?
You know what? I mean,
the DOJ is corrupt too.
All right, we're gonna go to Castle, then Vince. So go ahead.
Yeah, I think it just that expose right there kind of just showcases where the two sides are. Because if you ask the right if what Donald Trump did was wrong or illegal or illicit, they'll say, well, what about when the Dems did this? So they never want to answer it. And then when they do, the reason why that they think that Trump is that the Democratic Socialists or Democrats are worse is because, well, it's not as bad as what I think that Republicans are doing. So there's never going to be an agreement here because whatever Trump does that's illegal, they just think that whatever the DSA going to do that's illegal is just worse. And so I think that's the conundrum that we're in. And you can already see it by the way the conversation went with Pisco is like he asked something about crypto and they're like, I haven't heard about that, or well, it hasn't been convicted yet, or he hasn't been in a
how do you prove
convicted
something
yet of
is
a crime?
a crime? How do you prove something is a crime?
Okay,
hold on.
Does something?
Have you ever heard of a pump and dump?
All right, I wasn't done yet, but does something have to be proven as a crime for you to think it's wrong?
You could think something is wrong, but it doesn't mean it's a crime.
Okay, but do you think what Trump is doing with crypto is wrong?
I'm not informed.
What is he doing with crypto?
Stop.
What,
Yes,
like,
you are.
are you talking about the
Hold
thing
on,
like 2
hold on,
years ago?
Hold on. Castle, go ahead.
You can't tell me what I'm informed on and what I'm not informed on.
But then why are you here? Because these are issues that
You
happen
asked me about
literally every
crypto.
day.
You asked me about crypto. I'm not informed about crypto.
If you're talking about the thing that happened 2 years ago,
I'm talking about Trump's dealing with crypto. If you like Donald Trump and you know Donald Trump, this is something that has been in the news almost every week.
You want us
so
to
you don't have to
explain
know
it to
about
you?
crypto. You just have to know
Do you
about
want us
Trump's
to explain
dealings
to
with
you?
it.
Do you actually want the explanation, or do you want to continue to be willfully blind and not look into it?
I'm literally asking you. Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, which
You
one?
want the answer.
You can explain it to me. But again, are you going to be explaining it
Do you
non-biased?
care about it? I'm
Yeah,
going to
I
explain
care
it
about it.
correctly. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing to know is Trump coin. Okay. This was a meme coin that he created to rug pull his own fucking people, and which, by the way, there's a ton of opportunity for foreign actors and other nefarious actors, and there's evidence of this as well, to invest in the Trump coin. And they in fact did, and there was this relationship with the United Arab Emirates, and that was absolutely a rug pull. Agreed? Did you see the evidence of this?
Yeah, I'm aware of the rug pull. Yeah,
I mean, hold on. Agreed.
Okay,
that was like
Agree
two
that's a rug pull?
years ago.
No, hold on. Do you agree it's a rug pull, Greg? Yes or no? If you know the case, then
Yeah, if he's talking about from 2 years ago, yeah, I agree that was a rug pull.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's
I
using
have-
this was in anticipation of him assuming office, right? And in anticipation of that, he is using that office to market this coin to scam his own fucking followers and to get investors from foreign places over which he is not divesting and over which there's going to be major action taken. We're talking about
Well,
gold
see,
fields where
I'm
they're
aware
sharing
of the
technology, right?
accusation. I'm aware of the accusation of a rug pull. I'm not aware that it was a rug pull.
What would it take to prove? What would it take to convince you? What would it take to convince you?
More information.
Okay,
Let's-
more information.
Well, hold
Good,
on. No,
more
I mean, look,
information.
I remember reading
give us
about this when
something.
it happened. I kind of put it out of my head, but mainly because look, it was investigated. There wasn't nobody found any like bad action
What do you
on
mean
Trump.
it was investigated? Who the fuck
It
investigated?
was
When was it investigated?
Elizabeth Warren and Roger and what the other fucking guy.
They have no power. They don't.
They have no power. They're out of power.
Are they suddenly
let's-
part of the
let's,
FBI?
They literally pushed the investigation forward. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I got it. Let's do this real quick. All right, let's go to Vince. If he wants to continue this, he can, and we can come back to him. But let's go to Vince, who's been waiting for a second.
There's
Go.
been 3 weeks for y'all to come up with an answer to this, okay? And now I can finally ask the hosts the question. Okay, here we
right.
go. Palantir, okay? I've now used this point a bunch of times. So let's see if we can get a good response to this. March 2026, Trump purchased Palantir's stock. April 7th, he specifically went on the Truth Social and said Palantir Technologies and used their stock ticker symbol, PLTR, has proven to have great warfighting capabilities and equipment. Just ask our enemies, President DJT. I don't need to sit here and do some mysterious rug pull with a bunch of third characters. I have literally the President of the United States buying stock in Palantir and then advocating to go out and buy Palantir. What are your thoughts?
This was all public.
Very public. His federal release,
it's
almost
like
say.
So
World
this is like
news,
me
dude.
telling you to buy, to buy shares in my company.
Yeah, but the difference is Trump is running.
but he doesn't own
right? The
Palantir.
government that's buying the contracts, right? He's in charge of running the contracts with fucking Palantir. And so do you understand the conflict of interest in owning stocks in a company over which you're granting contracts and which is being integrated with the government itself? That seems pretty corrupt, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought it was very corrupt, especially
and that's the kind of
like when
that we care
half the
about.
Democratic Party does it.
Oh,
There,
wow.
there,
Pisco,
oh, no,
what
hold on,
did I say?
wait.
Pisco, what did I say?
No,
What did
but you know
say?
what? I will
What did
say, yeah, that's pretty fucking corrupt. Let's get them all. Let's get them all. No more stock
I'd agree
trading
with
for public officials. I actually believe in that. I agree with you.
Cool.
My favorite example of corruption, by the way, is the one I've now touted again numerous times, which is Dell. This one goes under the radar quite a bit. Essentially what happened was in December, Dell ended up contributing over $6 billion to Trump's child savings accounts. In February 10th, he ended up purchasing between $1 and $5 million in Dell shares. And then after that, on February 19th, and about 5 more times after that, he said, go out and buy a Dell computer.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that one was a pretty strong claim to corruption here. The man had a literal vested interest via stocks and the Dell family contributing to his political agenda, namely the Trump Trump savings accounts, which was the one that went to the children and things like that or whatnot. So again,
There's so
this
many
is the
examples of these guys.
Thought-
Like, I could pull one on my ass right now. I mean, like, what about the slush fund? He negotiated with himself a collusive lawsuit to give himself tax liability beyond anything anyone's ever negotiated before, and then to extract from the American taxpayer what 1.7, 1.8 billion dollars. He tried to do this to give to his friends, a collusive lawsuit where he's on both sides of the V. There's more too. I mean, like the Qatar airplane situation, it's been a complete bamboozle. And you're saying that you're fearful of Muslims. I don't know who the is it not great.
And then
and he's like
the
doing
FBI
this with these
non-prosecution
oil lords.
agreement. The little FBI non-prosecution agreement that got shot down really quickly.
Yeah.
how he said, "Praise be to Allah." Right, and he said that
the
on a few-
Binance CEO, who's part of these United Emirates deals. There's so many examples of this shit, and it's not just libs saying it. It's not just left wing people saying it. Nick Fuentes, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson. Now, the National Review. It is the most like insane amount of corruption that has ever existed in this country before, and the comparisons to Democrats is like not even close. What you just said in response, like, well, what about the Democrats and immigration? Like, what are you talking about? That's not even corruption. But even if it were, let's say that even it was, what are we talking about in terms of dollar amounts? It's like trivial. Meanwhile, on immigration itself, we have Kristi Noem, who has again like conflicts of interest with certain contracts that she's buying for ICE. She had to like resign because the the corruption and the conflicts of interest were so much in DHS and ICE itself. To say nothing of how the DOJ is being weaponized with respect to immigration enforcement. You had Tom.
You don't think the DOJ ought to be weaponized to protect our borders?
The DOJ should not be weaponized for political purposes or to help people who are taking bribes or who are taking contracts.
Well, that's not what you said. What you said was the DOJ weaponized to protect
as relates immigration. Yeah, so where there's an access to immigration. So, for example, I'm not saying that enforcing immigration law is by itself corrupt. I didn't say that.
Okay, so why did you say that?
I'm saying I didn't say that. You fucking
but
dipshit.
You just did.
No, I didn't. I didn't say that enforcing immigration law is corrupt. I'm saying where there's a nexus with immigration law, there have been corrupt actions taken. For example, with Kristi Noem and certain contracts that were being bought out for which there was vested interests, and getting rid of the investigation into Tom Homan, where he was taking bribes in exchange for contracts that were anticipated coming down the line. Like there's just everywhere.
But that has nothing to do with ICE enforcing immigration law on the border.
The fuck it doesn't. What do you mean? We're talking about contracts that relate to immigration enforcement.
No, you're talking about contracts that relate to politicians, maybe potentially fleecing the taxpayer, but that has nothing to do with ICE doing its job on the border, which is what you insinuated.
Fuck. No, dipshit. I'm not saying that enforcing immigration law by itself.
Okay, so we should. You agree
idiot.
that we ought.
Idiot.
That we
boomer,
ought,
listen to me. Hey, boomer, shut up.
Hold on. Look. Calm down. So you agree that ICE protecting the border is a good thing, and that's what they ought be doing.
ICE, so ICE doesn't do border protection. That's CBP. Idiot.
Why wouldn't they? You just said that they should. You just literally said that they were being used improperly, and that there was some kind of scam on the American people.
No. What I said was specific to Kristi Noem and other actors related to immigration, where there's an immigration nexus, and it undermines immigration enforcement to have corruption. Agreed?
Sure, it possibly could. Right? Absolutely,
that's
100%.
What I was talking about. I wasn't saying that enforcement of immigration is necessarily corrupt. That's your straw man.
That's not a straw man. That's what you said.
Okay. Then
maybe you meant something else, but what you said was.
It was very obvious. No, did I say, oh, they're so corrupt, they're enforcing immigration law? Or did I say they're so corrupt with respect to immigration law, look at Kristi Noem's contracts? And you drew from that.
No, you did not say that. You said
it was clear in context what I meant.
The borders.
It was clear in context what I meant. When I was talking about the corruption related to immigration, I didn't bring up the fact that they're enforcing borders, dude. I brought up contracts. I brought up political dropping of investigations. That's what I brought up. And you are.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with any of the things that you've talked about. I mean, look, corrupt politicians on both sides of the aisle ought to be investigated.
It's you doing this false equivalence. Oh, it's both. It's both. It's both. It's both. The magnitude is galactically different. It's galactically different. Yes, it is. Name the most corrupt thing a Democrat's ever done.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's just start small with.
I want the most corrupt. I don't want small.
Oh, I don't even know the most corrupt. But let's just talk about I can't think of her name. I'm drawing a blank. California. Pelosi, thank you. All of her stock trades. There's literally people that follow her stock trades.
Oh, come on.
Pelosi hasn't even made the most money.
Best y'all got is Pelosi.
Through the door if you open the door.
Can I reel this back a little bit?
Is that not corrupt? Is that not corrupt?
Hold on. Let's go to
So
Glenn.
Pelosi ought to be in jail, right?
Yeah, Glenn. Try again, Glenn.
How about Fast and Furious? How about the IRS targeting the conservative organizations? How about the NSA surveillance? That's pretty bad. Benghazi corruption. How about the executive branch transparency? How about the DOJ controversy? All these things are bad, right? You said you want to know what bad. That's pretty bad, right?
So where's the corruption?
Here comes the hand wave.
Do you agree that those are corrupt?
No. There's no hand wave. I'm just trying to go one by one. Benghazi corruption. Go.
No. I said Fast and Furious corruption. Start from there.
All right. Fast and Furious corruption. Go. Make your case.
They were selling illegal guns. They were giving guns to the fucking the cartel to allegedly track them, right? What did they end up finding?
Yeah. Wait. Why is that
What was
corruption?
the illegality though?
They were
giving-
literally buying guns from Texas and taking them across the border.
You said it was for you said it was for a good purpose, though, right? Would you say
No,
that
it is for a good
pager
purpose.
attack?
That's corruption.
You said to
Well,
do something
say it was a good
related
purpose.
to going after them, right?
It
What was the
was
purpose of Fast and Furious?
to try to track allegedly transportation of the
They
illegal
were
guns.
arming the cartels.
So
with it.
if
They were arming the
that
Oh,
if that purpose, do you think they wanted to arm the cartels?
Yes, I think that's what the
Okay,
entire
what's
plan
the
is.
evidence?
so a failed
What-
sting
what-
operation is them wanting to arm the cartels. A failed sting operation is them arming the cartels.
Why else would they give the cartels guns?
To do a sting operation, maybe, or to do law enforcement?
Did they end up doing a sting operation?
No. The question is
Obviously,
what's your
it failed.
evidence? What's your evidence? Your question is what's your evidence that they had a motive to just help cartels?
That we didn't prosecute anything.
That's hang on a second. That's
No, that just
consistent
makes
with
it
the
a failed
rationale of their
operation.
yeah. That's consistent with that explanation. So we want evidence that they had a corrupt motive. But that is to say that they were trying to help the cartel because they liked the cartel. What's the evidence for that claim?
The evidence that they was corrupt was they were like they did not.
Who
There was-
benefited? Who was the benefactor of this corrupt scheme?
All right, this is painful. I'm gonna help
The
you out.
cartels.
I'm gonna help you sort this out. I'm stepping
So
in.
what is it?
Oh, just
Criminal
all right, hold on.
benefit too. What
All
more
right,
did you
all right.
benefit?
I'm just
Criminal
let me give you the
guns is a
response, and
fundamental
then y'all can
problem.
fight real quick. I'm just gonna play a word
No,
for him. Hold on, real quick. Just I'm gonna help him out for 1 second. Then y'all can go back to whatever this is. The answer would be that they gave them fucking guns that they then used against their own people and other people, without
True.
any prosecution. And the idea that, oh, okay, well, hey, why did this prosecution happen? Well, that's the real question. So the evidence would be, oh, these guys benefited without any negative happening to them. That would be the evidence of potential corruption that should be looked into further.
They
that-
trying
In order
to
for
Now,
there-
all right,
in order
conservatives,
for there
use
to be
that. Thank you.
corruption-
no.
in
Were
order
they,
for
were
there
they
to be
trying
corruption
to
and
further
co-
crimes? Yeah.
Well,
All
let's
right,
say that,
so-
you can't prove that. They weren't trying to. But when they
So
have
you,
two,
so you
when you
can't
have- when you
prove
have
it.
the
Wait,
death-
so
hold
can
on,
you?
when you have the
Hold
death
on,
of
I
the-
can prove it.
Hold on.
I can
You have
prove
the
it.
death
Hold
of
on.
a border patrol agent that was done by those guns, and then the DOJ initially gave Congress misleading information. Come on now.
So
that is
Well,
not corruption.
actually,
I don't
Eric
know what
Holder-
you-
Eric Holder
you need
did
to
that.
prove. You need to prove that the policy itself was corrupt, and in other words, was motivated by an improper.
Yes, I can do that.
Were they? Okay,
I can do
go
that.
for it.
Okay, so what was corrupt about it is that they deliberately delayed any action specifically to make the problem seem worse than it was in the press. They admitted that to a House Oversight Committee. They
And how about
literally
the fact
said that
that
they
Obama-
literally said that what they were trying to do, they knew that it was wrong, but they did it anyway. I can't remember all the agents' names and all that
Wait a
shit,
second.
but it was in.
Hold
I'm
on.
sorry.
How about Obama later asserting executive privilege over certain DOJ documents
Well, I mean, I
requested
can
by
finish
Congress?
the-
That's consistent.
Yeah.
No, hang on. That's consistent with this being a bureaucratic nightmare, a fuck up. Where
A
people are trying to
cover
cover
up,
their ass.
corruption.
No.
Sure,
What
yeah.
what you're trying to prove is that the operation itself, what you claimed before, was to like help the cartel.
Is killing a border patrol agent helping the cartel?
No, that the purpose of the people behind the policy.
I think
was to
giving
help
the border, giving cartel guns to kill the border patrol agents
was that
helps the
what they
cartel.
wanted? They want so I want you to say it. The Obama administration wanted this policy to kill border agents. Is that your claim?
My
That
claim
would
is
not be my
Obama
claim.
wanted to benefit
I'll
the
tell
cartel.
you exactly what it.
Yeah. So that's wrong, right? You don't have any evidence that Obama wanted the border patrol people dead, right?
You have the evidence
I don't think
that
Obama knew anything about it, to be honest.
Well, he did try to
Oh,
use
so then-
executive privilege. Hold on, he tried to use executive privilege to limit what Congress could actually have and see to prove that there was corruption. Yes.
Okay, so
So he was trying to stall it. He was trying to
you're
become
saying that you don't have
a scandal instead of being full transparent. Yes.
So I want to know that that's your standard, because that's just going to be beautiful with all the examples that we have of Trump, asserting executive privilege and trying to prevent the production of documents. And so you're just going to get fucking buried if that's your standard. But even putting that aside,
we can still go. There's a lot more with Obama and Biden that we could go through. So
what you're comparing at worst,
the same standard.
What you're comparing at worst, right? What you're comparing at worst is Obama and bureaucrats trying to cover up their fuck ups. We're looking for.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on. I didn't know the loss of a human. I didn't know the loss of a U.S. Border Patrol agent is just a fuck up.
No. Listen, you need to show.
Loss of a life is just a fuck up. It's just a little fuck up.
Okay, so the war in Iran right now, we have service people dead, right? Did Trump want them to die?
No, but that was that.
So just the fact. So this is how stupid you are. You need to go back to fucking school. You need to go back to fucking school. Just because death occurs.
Did Trump arm Iran and give them guns and say, "Hey, oh shit, my bad, you shot our guys"? No, he fucking did.
So this is how stupid.
We've
this is how
terrorists
stupid
all
you
the
are.
time.
This is how.
trying to make.
So first of all, did Trump
answer this question? Did Trump arm Iran?
Did Trump arm Iran? So did Trump
arm Iran?
Tariff
Answer that question.
Did Trump
arm Iran?
Did Trump give sanction waivers?
Did Trump arm Iran?
One at a time. One at a time.
Answer the fucking question.
All right, God damn. I'll mute people. I don't want to. Okay, go ahead.
This is the response. This is the response. He's asking whether Trump specifically armed Iran, as though that were necessary to a finding, or his standard as to Obama's complicity in the death of this border agent or whatever. But that's not what he said. What he said, the reasoning was because death occurred that was causally related in his mind to something Obama did, which again, query whether that's even fucking true. Half the time these people aren't even, correctly presenting these cases. Even if that were true, it doesn't show that he wanted it to happen. But it is the case that Trump has waived oil sanctions on Iran, which is billions of dollars worth of value to the Iranians. So on that view, right, given that was billions of dollars worth of value, given that view, can you buy guns with billions of dollars? Can you buy guns with billions of dollars? Yes or no? Can you buy? Can you buy it? Wait, so Gibbs, get him to answer the question.
All right, Glenn, hold on.
Glenn, get him to answer the question.
All right, Glenn, talk. When you talk uninterrupted.
So let me get the question out. Let me get the question out.
Peace is going to ask you a question. Here's what's going to happen. All right, before anybody says anything else, you're going to ask the question. Glenn, you're going to talk uninterrupted, and for however long it needs to be done to talk, and then you fucking, after you're interrupted, we can interrupt and start fighting again. All right? Go ahead. But if you ask Pisco a question, then Pisco gets to talk. So just know that.
I get it.
All right. Okay. So the question is, did the Trump administration waive sanctions that was worth a shit ton of money for the Iranian regime for a time period? And could that money be used to buy arms?
He waived the money. Yes. That money could be used to buy tampons for your mom. That money could be used to buy fucking baby food. That money could be used to buy fucking condoms. What they choose to use the money for has nothing to do with Trump. What did happen is that the Obama administration gave fucking guns to the cartel that led to the killing of our border patrol agents. Are you fucking kidding me? You cannot equate the two. Did Trump give them guns?
So
answer the question.
If it were the
answer the question, I answered your question. Answer my question.
I doubt that he gave them. I doubt that he gave them arms. I doubt that they gave them arms. I doubt they gave them arms.
So
that doesn't matter.
It's
irrelevant. It's stupid as fuck.
How are the two the same? Money.
So the point is the logic.
Hold on, money. What people can decide to purchase with, and fucking guns are not the same, bro. You can't even equate them to be the same.
The logic is as follows. What your claim is, just because the result occurred and because someone was able to benefit from some government action and negative results occurred, that therefore it was the conscious object of the government to make that result happen. That was the logic you applied to Obama. And the minute we are about to apply it to Trump, you're like, no, it's different, bro, because money is different than guns.
Yes,
as though you couldn't use money to buy guns.
All right, Glenn, go ahead and respond.
Money is different than guns.
Yeah. We're gonna go to Castle and then dance again, and then Vigilante if you want, and then go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's kind of funny that we're talking about giving guns to cartels when I was just looking this up. In 2017, Trump approved directing arms to the Kurdish YPJ, considered a terrorist organization by Turkey and the U.S. So we've, throughout our history, have given guns and weapons to terrorist organizations. Trump did it the same, and then these weapons get spread around the Middle East and end up killing U.S. troops. So if we want to talk about that, and
can you prove that anything that has happened, that we have lost lives under Trump's watch, we're giving guns to our enemies?
do you want me? I can look up how many.
Prove it, because we could prove that.
Why would it need to be the guns themselves? Why would it need to be the guns themselves?
Before we get too wild out, hold on.
So he's basically saying, is there a fact pattern that's this is what he's asking, Gibbs. He's asking, is there a fact pattern that's exactly the same as this Fast and Furious bullshit that they're bringing up? And if there's not, then therefore they're not corrupt. It's so stupid.
I'm gonna let Glenn. You got like a 30-second response, and then I'm going to Vince. All right, go ahead, respond, Glenn.
Again, what I'm saying is that I'm saying Fast and Furious was corruption. They lied about it. They tried to dog walk it and make it slow and stall it. They used the executive order to try to limit what Congress could actually have, the full evidence to actually see what really happened. That is corruption, especially trying to cover up the death of a Border Patrol agent, right? So when I said, show me where, and I told you that's what Obama did, and I said, show me where Trump has done that. You can't do that. And you were saying, where is the corruption? I just pointed out corruption.
Let's go to Vince now.
This
go
is
ahead.
called
Hold
special
on,
pleading. Let me finish. I just want to finish this one point.
That's fine.
It's special pleading. What he's basically saying is, it's an ad hoc rule. It needs to be the exact same fact pattern as the Obama, whatever his scandal he's talking about. And if it's not the exact same thing, the logic that he's proposing about, converting things which are mistakes, converting things which are errors into corruption doesn't apply. That, of course, is special pleading. It's bullshit.
All right, let's go to Vince. Then we're going to go to Vigilante. Go ahead.
So I want to kind of like tie this into the prompt a little bit here. And this is very important. When we talk about this, I heard Grid mention about congressional investigations. If we agree that corruption is bad, in which case we've heard a little bit of a concession there when it came to Trump's corruption, my question is then, what are the Republicans doing to investigate Trump's corruption? I would beg to say that there has been little to none. Actually, there's been zero congressional investigations with Republicans in investigating Donald Trump. And in fact, they've pretty much said we're not going to, and they've done everything to obstruct any kind of investigation into Donald Trump. So when we talk about who's the better candidate to vote for in the midterms, I think it's a pretty clear thing. We should investigate corruption, which we would all agree with, I would hope, in which case we need somebody who will, and that will be Democrats. Would y'all agree that we should investigate corruption? Do you agree that there should be congressional investigations into what Donald Trump is doing to find out more answers?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. You're going to have to. Those are two related but separate things, right? So I agree that corruption should be investigated. Absolutely. The problem is that everything you guys talk about, Trump is getting investigated. The whole rug pull thing that my buddy over here at Pisco talks about ad nauseum. It took me a minute to remember it, but that was investigated by the trade commissions and found that there was no sign of a rug pull. They literally said it didn't meet any of the metrics of a rug pull, and they're the people who would fucking know. But yet, because you hate this guy so much,
finds Trump administration innocent.
That because you guys just dislike this guy so much, you're willing to just label it a rug pull, even though the people who investigate rug pulls never did.
Who's the head of the FTC again?
The FTC is not the one that looks into it.
But let me ask you guys this question.
You just said they were.
Let me ask you guys.
I did not say that. I said the people who look into it. I don't remember the name of the office. It's a T. I forget the initials, like TKM or TM.
That's expected with an administration as corrupt as this, that they would find themselves innocent.
I want to. So, Glenn, I know you got a question. I want to go to Vigilante here real quick first, because he was next, and then we go to your question, Glenn. Go ahead, Vigilante. What did you have?
Yeah, so I just want to see if Glenn keeps the same energy that he's having with the Fast and Furious investigation thing. So was funding the Mujahideen back in the 1970s and 80s, was that corruption?
Yeah, I would say so.
What?
Okay.
We're fighting communism. That's crazy. Just because it results in funding people who become Al-Qaeda, you're saying because it has a bad result, it's corruption. But the intent there was clearly just to fight against the Russians in Afghanistan. That's like
I personally don't think we should
geopolitical
have been
interest in
involved in
America.
it to begin with.
Whether you personally agree with the policy or not is not the question. Do you doubt
And
that
he
the
asked me
reason that
that
we were
my
funding the boost?
personal opinion was it corruption. Yes, I said it was corruption.
So,
That's my
so
personal
corruption.
opinion.
So this
That's
is
my personal
this,
opinion. You
You're
can't tell me my
using,
personal
you're using
opinion is wrong.
proprietary language. You're using proprietary language, and this is what you say. Whenever you don't like something, it's corruption, right?
That's what you guys are saying. Because here's my question to you guys.
Oh,
Tell me what Democratic president has done any corruption?
Joe
Give me a-
Biden corruptly pardoned his own son. You won't do the same. You won't acknowledge corruption on your side.
Actually, I do all the time. Actually, I think
Do
that.
it.
I
Do
think
it,
that.
bitch.
Oh, first of all, who you calling a bitch there?
All right,
The bitch is
Fine.
talking. The bitch
Fine,
is talking.
no bitch
Who's
there.
talking?
Who's a
All
bitch
right,
here?
let's focus on the thing. Go ahead. I know we're getting
Still, I think it's really corrupt in helping Israel the way that we are. I think that's corrupt.
But that's not corrupt, right? You just don't like
I think
it.
it's corrupt. I think that
But to
giving them-
Pisco's point, we can't just
Well, no,
be
I would
saying
agree with
things
him that
we
that's
don't.
corrupt, honestly.
See, thank you,
All right, but
vigilante
there's-
figures to me. So there you go.
Okay, but even still, you have to
Oh, there
prove
you go.
that we're
I gave you
doing
a
something-
point.
We're doing something
APAC
that's
money.
against what Congress is
Exactly.
voting on. or
APAC money,
something.
any type of foreign lobbyists, I think that's all corrupt. I think all lobbyists are corrupt, personally. So
Yeah, because I think you just think corrupt is what you don't like.
no, I
No,
don't think
I
we should
actually
have,
think that
I
there's-
don't think we should have foreign nations involved in our politics. Period.
Like Qatari
Period.
jets.
Okay. Like
I would
Qatar
agree with that.
airplanes,
I think
like
that's
deals that Trump, like
correct, too.
Trump is the biggest foreign whore that we've ever had as a president, alleged
I think
president.
accepting a plane from
True.
another nation is corrupt.
Because he's doing something in return. He is giving them bases in America. He's giving them access to technologies in the case of United Arab Emirates. Like he's a big whore.
Yeah, and to be clear, just so we're clear on the timeline, they gave an agreement to give $1 billion in drones to Qatar, I believe it was, after the plane, May 14th. So May 11th, the jet arrangement was made public, and then May 14th, they signed an agreement to give $1 billion in drones. So they got a pretty good little...
Is
deal.
allowing, or is Trump's family buying companies out like EA in coalition with Saudi Arabia corruption, Glenn?
Sorry, I stepped away. Could you repeat that?
Is Trump's family buying out companies like EA in coalition with Saudi Arabia? Is that corruption?
Now, what Trump's family is doing and what Trump's doing, I can't speak on that. Like, like if their family members are doing something, like how's that connect to his presidency?
Because
It's
they're
almost
on the
That was a
plane.
different standard than Hunter Biden, right? Hunter
Agreed.
Biden, right? Like, do you think that was corrupt, Hunter Biden? Well, that's just his son, right?
Well, there's a different scandal there. When Biden when Biden said the prosecutor has to be taken down, that was
Yeah,
looking into
for government purposes.
I just
for
want to say
legitimate
one
purposes.
thing real quick. Listen,
Oh, you believe the Burisma bullshit, right?
Hold
You believe
on.
these Burisma conspiracy theories?
I just want to say one thing. If you are the president of the United States and say, and let's just say I'm the president, right? And my kid commits, like, I don't know, the biggest mass murder in history, you best believe I'm fucking pardoning that bitch. What kind of point is being a president if you don't pardon your own kid?
You
Just
can say
saying.
that some corruption
Like,
is good. Wait.
I
so-
mean,
you
I'm
can
just
take
saying in general.
Gibbs.
That's like family. You should pardon your kid. Like, I would,
Gibbs, this is great.
Yeah.
You can say that like some corruption is good, and that you would be corrupt. That's just totally compatible with what we're saying. That you would. be
no, I
corrupt
just want to put that on record. If you like, because I hear this a lot, and I'm like, hold on, if you're a conservative, you talk about family. Like, if you're okay, if you're really about family values, you're gonna pardon your kid. Like, I don't know that this is a point that as a conservative,
Yeah, because because you guys don't take these oaths of office seriously. These are not offices that are supposed to be held for your
I mean,
personal
I'm applying that for
benefit.
anybody. I think Biden was right to do that. If it's family, would you pardon your kid? Pisco, if you had a kid?
I would not
I want-
betray my
Come on.
oath by pardoning my
Come on.
child.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
I
have an
would
oath
not.
to your blood.
I would not. No,
I
because
wouldn't
when you
either.
take that oath, you need to take the oath seriously. You're an oath breaker if you do that.
Yeah, you
That's
have
an
an
oath.
oath
wanna
to your
say-
blood, bro. They're like,
I
don't
want
know.
to say this real quick
Then
because
don't be president.
it was asked what involvement Trump's kids have with Trump. Quite a bit. In fact, and I almost forgot about it. Who was the one going to Iran for negotiations? Jared Kushner.
Witkoff and Witkoff.
And Witkoff.
The funny you mentioned that because Kushner is also the one that bought EA with Saudi Arabia.
Well, and the funny thing about Jared Kushner is that his brother just recently bought out the LA Lakers,
The LA
who ended
Lakers,
up.
they took.
Yeah, and that guy, by the way, that ended up selling the Lakers to Jared Kushner's brother was just recently at the Oval Office giving a literal World Series ring and jersey to Donald Trump. Literally, this was like a week or two ago.
All right, but
So-
Vince, that's a coincidence.
I mean, there's a. I mean,
It's a
look,
coincidence. Yeah, it's a coincidence.
I mean, we keep going down this corruption train here, which is great. I mean, what's his name? Menendez or Menudo or whatever the fuck his name was, the guy from New Jersey.
Bob Menendez, Mayor Adams, and what happened there, right?
Yeah,
Bob
all those
Menendez
guys.
is looking for a
There's
pardon
corruption, right?
From Trump.
But why
And
does
then
that?
Mayor
Hold on,
Adams
hold on,
gets
hold on.
dropped
Let me
from the
finish.
DOJ.
Let me finish. I've been listening. I was sitting here kind of quiet, listening to the back and forth here. What the fuck does any of that have to do with
I'll tell you. DSA, let's talk about it.
voting for DSA candidates?
It's really obvious, right? If you care about purging the corruption, the DSA is going to vote against the corruption. They're going to vote to impeach and
Why do you
punish
think
people.
that?
Because they fucking hate
I
Trump.
can give you.
Because
hating Trump does not mean that you're not
Hold on,
corrupt.
not just-
yes,
Not just that. Hold on. Not just that. All of these DSA candidates are running grassroots campaigns, and they're refusing to take corporate PAC money and corporate money in general. The people statistically more likely to want to prosecute corruption, especially like the types of corruption that you're talking about, that we need to make illegal, like insider trading, are the people who don't want to take corporate money and aren't beholden to the corporate donors. If you want those kind of people in office, you have to vote for people that run grassroots campaigns. And for the most part, the DSA and progressive candidates are the only ones to do that. Hell, even one of the only fucking Republicans that ran a grassroots campaign just got primaried out because of Donald Trump, fucking Thomas Massey. If I was literally one fucking district over into Kentucky, I would have been voting for Thomas Massey, because why the fuck wouldn't I? He's a grassroots fucking politician, and being a grassroots politician, in my opinion at least, is one of the most important policy things that you can do.
And if you're critical of Israel, because you mentioned this other man, Glenn, listen, I got a little heated there talking about raping mothers, all that shit. I'm sorry, but if you care about bucking Israel, right? And if you're saying that, like,
I'm sure that's not the hottest take you've ever had.
Yeah, sure. Critical of like APAC money, right? Why wouldn't you consider voting for DSA people? That's like, sometimes I would feel they talk about that shit way too much. But if that's what you care about, if you are really like, if that's the corruption, the first thing that comes to your mind, why wouldn't you consider voting for the DSA? They're not going to be as much whores for Israel in that respect than Trump has shown to be, starting a war for.
I don't know that I believe that though.
What do you mean?
Well, because okay, look, and trust me, I have the barest knowledge of what the DSA people are signing or whatever, pledging or whatever the fuck. But
they basically don't stop talking about
it. Hold on.
That?
I mean, I can finish and then you can ask me a question. But
sure.
It seems to me, and maybe I'm wrong here, I'd love your opinion on it, that doesn't mean they're not taking maximum campaign contributions from wealthy people or individuals and that sort of thing, which is what typically happens when people say, well, I'm not taking corporate money, but they take plenty of money from other people.
Yeah, but there's maximum
there's
donations you can
contribution
have
limits.
as an individual.
Yeah, there's maximum donations you can have as an individual, and then that you can give money to somebody else and they can give it to that guy. I mean, look, there's always a workaround. I'm just saying this seems like bullshit.
There's less super PAC spending too, if you want to compare that.
Sure,
like,
and you know what? I don't believe that we should have super PACs. I honestly believe that campaign funding ought to be completely torn down and reformed. Unfortunately,
people who
I
wanna
don't
do
get to
that.
make that law.
I agree.
Yeah, the DSA people are the people who most want to do that campaign finance reform. They're the people who most want to buck the the lobbying shit.
I mean, they say
That's
they do.
their
I
bread
don't.
and butter.
People can say whatever they want. I don't. It doesn't mean. And
they also live there
Democratic
because-
socialists are insane people. So I have a hard
Yeah,
time
but
believing
that's kind of the
people.
problem. Is like the Republicans won't say it, and then when the Democrats do say it, you don't believe them. So like, what? How?
Because
how do
they're
you even
insane
vote at that?
people, and I can't. It's hard to trust insane people.
But you say that they want communism, so you believe them when they say something along the lines of communism. But then when they want to root out corruption, you say they're not believable. So you're kind of
They're
picking
lying.
and choosing what you want to hear.
Well, I believe communism is
When they
inherently
actually root out
corrupt. I mean,
when they
this is
actually
this
root
is
out
the
their own
this is the
corruption,
ridiculousness
then
of
I'll
your
give-
position.
Hold on, Grid. You would say that AOC is DSA aligned, right?
I mean, I would, but I literally was listening. I think it was a discussion, and Pisco was a part of it last week. I was driving and I was listening to a show where they were talking about how AOC was actually not DSA.
She's not
She is a
anymore.
member.
She's
She-
not.
she-
She,
I- no.
she
I
wa-
think she is.
well,
she wasn't
I
endorsed.
think she
she
is
was
endorsed.
endorsed.
It's
Yeah.
chapter
Yeah.
37 or whatever. She said it was like 2 days, a couple days ago or something.
I was just making sure that you would consider her DSA aligned, right? So there is a bill that she proposed. It's called the For the People Act. It's called HR1. And it is a bill in order to heavily restrict PACs and change how the campaign finance stuff works. This is an example of a DSA aligned politician trying to push for campaign finance reform.
Yes, there are many politicians that push for campaign reform. I appreciate you giving one example.
Okay. I mean, like, the threat is obvious if you're talking about Trump and MAGA, and it's corruption, it's authoritarianism, it's basically just the destruction of everything that we should care about in our constitutional republic. And the DSA, at least with compared to someone who's going to further it, the DSA is going to further it less and probably, in my opinion, reverse it. And they have some wacky out there policies, but I don't think that they're going to be able to effectuate it. But if you're not really seeing the threat, and if you don't see it from our perspective, then maybe you won't understand why we would vote for these people over MAGA people.
Well, I got a question then. Why would it be that independents find the DSA so abhorrent then? It seems like independents are, based off the polls, for whatever that's worth, it seems like the last one I saw was the 14% approval rating of the Democratic Socialists. And yet,
They probably think they're too radical.
right. And so that means they don't seem to be aligning with what you're saying because the
They also
Republicans
hate
within
Trump.
party had, well, it seems he's going to hire
Trump's
approval rating
underwater with
them.
independents.
Sure, but
No,
not
Trump's
14%.
like minus. You saying the DSA overall is 14% with independents and approval?
Yeah, that's what I saw last week. So, like, I
Maybe
mean,
that's true. I saw Trump's approval with independents in like minus 70s. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I could be totally hallucinating, but I thought it was like horrible, his approval rating with independents. But yeah, my guess is that they're probably too radical for many independents and many of their views, and they scare them off.
So, I mean,
think
it
that
says
many
right here, I just did a quick AI search. It says he's got 21 to 26% by most polls. So,
Yeah.
that's better. That's significantly better than what's going on with the DSA.
Where's the 14% coming from?
I don't know. It was CNN or MSNBC the other day. I mean, I can look up.
So
I can
there,
just Google
there
the
are
same
two
thing.
recent polls that I found for DSA. There was one. The Marquis poll said 13%.
Okay.
The Siena poll said
Hey, see?
25%.
What said what?
I mean, that's great and all, but I'm
The
just,
Siena poll said 25%.
so this is
Yeah,
favorable.
all right. So
It's low.
great. There's things that you like about their candidacy, but they're communist and they're insane, and that's not conducive to anything that I think that normal Democrats believe in. So I wonder
think they're
why
insane.
you think that's a better alternative.
I don't think they're insane. I think that some of them have like really bad theory, and when they get into power,
Yes,
like Mamdani,
and those theories
they
could be
moderate.
applied when in office, and you're ignoring that.
No, it's okay. Listen, it's possible it could be implied in an office, but we have
Not possible, plausible.
I don't think that it's plausible. Some of the ideas are going to be attempted, right? Like prison abolition, police abolition. I don't think it's plausible these ideas will be implemented. It's definitely plausible that some bad ideas will be attempted to be implemented, no doubt about that. But the track record we have is like, look, Mamdani is trying to get in good graces with Hochul. AOC is palatable to most of the party, and she's more liberal
Okay.
than a lot, but in some ways you probably agree with it in terms of her resistance to, like you said, the campaign finance bullshit and lobbying bullshit. And so
Yes.
I just think that they have a track record of not being crazy fucks.
They're okay. Mamdani has literally said that he's going to track that even if you flee New York as a billionaire, that he's going to track you down and take your money. That's insane.
If you're
Donald Trump
a
said, "I'm going to take
taxpayer-
your money." Donald Trump.
That's true. Like,
And he just
it's
took
so
it.
funny. We started with.
I didn't like it when he said it either. I'm just pointing out that you guys can keep going. Oh, Trump bad, Trump bad. Okay, can we just agree that on some things Trump is bad, and can we fucking move on with the actual conversation?
Well, hold on. No, wait. This is very important. Though. This is incredibly important. When we're talking about, first of all, a mayor versus the president, that's a big distinction. Secondly, when we're talking about who to vote for in the midterms, Mamdani's not running in the midterms. He's not somebody
Correct.
who's even going to be able to hold.
But he is an example of a DSA person who was elected. He is the best example we have currently of a DSA person that was elected, and he's doing stupid shit, and it's scary as fuck, and it's insane.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, right?
Yeah, let's do that, which is what we should have been talking about for the past 2 hours, but you guys hate Trump so bad.
I'm not willing to say I'm not willing to say that Mamdani going after people who have legal obligations.
Can you please get close to your mic? I have to turn my volume up, and then everybody blows me out.
Turn my volume up. Turn my volume up. Okay, so I'm not willing to say that it's bad for Mamdani to go after people who have a legal tax obligation to the city. Why is that bad?
But they don't have a legal obligation once they leave the city.
How do you know that? How do you know? Wait, no. There's
because I'm one of the people that left.
No. So it depends on their particular circumstances. There are some things that make you a resident for tax purposes in New York City, and there are other things that have like source.
Yes, and he's trying to change those to be more ridiculous.
He can't change tax code. That's a governor's.
Yeah, the governor fortunately is going to stop him, but if they had a DSA governor aligned, it would be bad for you guys.
You're saying he's going after people who, in his mind, have a tax obligation to the city. Are you saying that he wants to do that, or he is doing it?
He is attempting that. He has said that he is going to do that.
If he's attempting that, it depends on whether I think that they do or ought to have a tax obligation to the city of New York. And that'll depend on the circumstances of the particular billionaire. If they still own property in New York City, you wouldn't think it's like wrong for them to like extract taxes related to that, right? If they earn money in New
property.
York City,
no, hold on. Let's okay, we can clearly define that. So if I own property there, which thank God I do not, then I would pay property taxes. If someone,
what if you earn money in the city? What if you have an office in the city and you earn money in the city?
If I have an office there and I don't earn, what if I have an office there that I just meet people in and all my business is actually conducted in Florida? Do I owe New York taxes?
So that's going to.
By the way, they already charge you taxes.
Oftentimes you can be liable for double taxation, just so you're aware. But in general,
I know.
Yeah. So whatever the code, I'm not a tax law expert. I'm just going to put it out there. But whatever the thing is, it's going to turn on like the legal issue itself. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with applying taxation when there's a nexus to New York City economic activity. And ditto, if you like spending like more than half a year in New York City, and they want to, as a matter of statutory law, treat you as a resident for tax purposes. I don't really see the problem with that either.
That's actually an insane thing that New York City does. If I go there and I make money there for one day, I owe taxes on that one day.
Louisiana does the same thing, by the way. Louisiana does the same thing. If there's any kind of economic activity that happens within the particular parishes, like if you have any kind of like, let's say you go out to do a construction job and you buy something, from a vendor or something like that, there are certain tax laws that like you'll have to pay for that parish's taxes. It's not unique to New York.
Yeah, well, I mean, New York goes as far as like athletes that go there and get paid. They perform there, and they actually get
city limits.
Huh?
You're in the city limits. You're earning money in New York City, and they have the right to charge you taxes.
Sure, but they're not a resident.
You can be taxed even if you're not a resident, based on how.
Yes, that's the problem. Is income tax for someone that's not a resident is a problem. I think California is very much the same. California's I still to this day get letters from the franchise tax board telling me that I owe taxes on a building that's a parking lot right now. That's just how it's fucking insane.
So it's not then unique to Mamdani from the way that I'm
but he's taking it a step further. He's literally saying that even if you leave and you take all your business and you do no business, he's still because you owe New York.
Yeah,
I don't think he can do it. I'm going to say that I don't think he can do it. I don't think he can do it. I will say that. I don't think he can do it. But the idea that he wants to do it should scare fucking everybody.
Wait, what's socialist about this? About like double taxation or like weird rules about source-based taxation?
Yeah, I'm pretty much I dislike a lot of taxation. We could get into a whole discussion about that, but it's not relevant really.
Well, and to our point earlier about who to vote for the midterms, tariffs. Guess who's trying to get rid of tariffs? Democrats. Democrats want to get rid of Trump's tariffs right now, which, by the way, Donald Trump is still pushing. Just because the one got overturned, the IEPA ones, he's still going after them in other forms. So which party is going to actually remove taxes from you?
Yeah,
It's going to be
yeah.
Democrats.
If a nation is tariffing us, we should tariff them back. It's just the way I think it should be.
But we
However,
were tariffing places that didn't tariff us. We were tariffing like islands filled with penguins. We were tariffing like Vietnam. We were tariffing our allies. We were tariffing places where we had Trump negotiated trade deals. Like, it was an insane situation, and it was clearly illegal under IEPA.
some of them were illegal.
Yeah. I think we're
Amen.
Yeah, like I don't know, like what's the
The whole DSA thing, and we keep coming back to Trump, but I don't give a. I mean, again, there's many things that Trump does a bad job, and I've been critical of Trump before, but you guys just keep taking it back, and you're not wanting to look at the clear picture of what DSA really means for the U.S. And I like
Usually
I don't think
shit.
or I think I don't think that there's a net positive there for anything DSA, and I think that you would be better off voting instead of voting for an incumbent, voting for a Republican.
Yeah, but great. I think the problem that, at least from our perspective, is that we keep naming things that Donald Trump that even we agree on, great, like corruption. That's some things that this administration you agree has done wrong.
Is Trump running?
Yeah, he's
in
people
power.
that he's endorsed.
Is
that
he
are going to
running?
vote for.
Not
Trump
this,
is on
not
the
this
ballot.
midterms. Not in this midterm.
I
But
mean,
like
Trump.
everybody.
I mean, Trump is a proxy for the midterms,
Yes.
right? The president's
correct.
job approval is on the ballot essentially.
Could
for
you
midterms.
say Madani is a proxy for the midterms too? Like his position and his like
Not as much. No.
well, so now it's on a sliding scale. But principally,
he's
you
the
say it's
mayor
the
of New
same,
York.
right?
No,
I
because
really wish my
he's the
camera
mayor-
was live.
He's the mayor of a particular city, and the races of like the congressional races don't relate to his.
Yeah,
use of
I
power.
mean,
You could say that.
Mandami's just an example. I'm going to go with, I'm going to, Pisco, Mandami's just an example. He's not running. He's not really, the only relevance he has is as an example, right? Like I'm not saying that he's going to go
But he hasn't instituted
and
Sharia
suddenly
law.
become,
Here,
what's the scariest thing he's done?
I'm sorry?
What's the scariest thing he's done?
The biggest thing that I did, and look, I honestly don't pay attention to his day-to-day agenda or anything, but my concern with Mandami is the going after the rich specifically, because we keep redefining what rich is.
Not the
Going
rich.
after and the ideas of these what did you guys call them earlier, like state-run grocery stores or whatever. I think those are actually that actually is an interesting dichotomy for me, because I would honestly think that like Walmart or somebody would be pissed off about it, but really it's the small bodegas and all of the little shops that are getting really angry about this, and it's probably because to survive in New York they have to overcharge quite a bit versus anywhere else. I mean, I know what chips cost, and I know what I pay for them when I'm in the city, and
Like
so-
potato chips?
huh?
Like potato chips?
Yeah, like potato chips or beef jerky or fucking whatever. I know what that shit
Yeah,
costs
everything's more
everywhere else in the
expensive
world,
there.
and it's expensive as shit. It's interesting to me, and maybe you guys can help me understand this, how the idea of a state-run or state-affiliated or whatever grocery store, I don't think it hurts Walmart or Kroger's or King Soopers or whatever. I think it really hurts the little neighborhood bodegas who can't do anything about their rent, who can't do anything about what it costs them to bring in goods into the city.
Yeah, I mean,
Explain to me how this is good.
The thing about bodegas in the city, right, is one of the things that the Mamdani and their city-run grocery stores is you're not allowed to sell alcohol, you're not allowed to sell lottery tickets. So for a lot of like main commercial goods, you're going to go to a supermarket or a grocery store anyway to buy. You're not really going to a bodega to buy, your cleaning material or a cereal box, because they already overcharge for that anyway. You're really going to get your soda, your candy, your lottery tickets, your booze, or your
No, I
Coca-Cola.
reject
So-
that. Look, I had an apartment in Manhattan, and I would literally go down to the bodega down the street. I bought everything there.
I mean,
from
you
toilet
can't. I mean,
paper
great.
to
Let's be
fucking,
honest. You're not.
you're
You're not
paying a
barely
premium for that.
surviving. Yeah, you have money to do that. A lot of people don't have the money that they can afford to go to a bodega and pay $1 or $2 extra for these things. So I think that's the hope here for Mamdani, and whether it works or not is one thing. But I think that's what I was trying to get at with my point, was that you're worried about his tax policy. You're worried about things that he's doing with grocery stores. And then
I'm not worried about it. I think it's
side,
insane.
all right, you think that's insane, but then we're talking about like legitimate corruption on the other side, and then you're coming back with why these certain policies.
I don't care. Look, the whole the whole corruption thing. Sure, they're corrupt people, both sides. Trump has done some things that may or may not end up being corrupt. I don't know.
We're talking about candidates in the DSA who are about being against corruption and being against the
people say shit that they don't mean all the time when they're running for politics. The policies that they endorse are what I'm concerned with. And when you're endorsing literal communism, that's a problem for me.
But how is somebody in New York City, like, hold on, Vince, but if someone in New York City, you don't live in New York City, but they're a House member in New York City who's against corruption and tariffs, how would somebody being would affect where you live? And I don't know where you live, but whatever state you live in,
I'm in Tennessee right now.
How would somebody be affecting where you live in Tennessee, your state policy from New York, by voting on a federal bill that bans insider stock trading or will ban tariffs?
Do you know how you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
That's right. And that's exactly the problem with the fucking DSA shit. Yeah. Oh, it's just the guys in the local community in the neighborhood. The next thing you know, they're senators or congressmen. They're fucking making policy for the rest of the country. And I don't want that. Nip it in the
policy
fucking
you
butt.
agree with. You agree with the
I don't agree with socialism. I don't agree with communism.
Hey, I just want to mention this real quick.
What do you think the DSA platform is? Do you know what the DSA platform is, Grid?
Democratic socialism. So there's socialism involved.
No, like, do you know what the policy platform is? Do you know what the policy platform is, right?
I don't know. I couldn't name you 5 things off of it. No.
I'll go through some of it. So Medicare for all, or universal health care.
Torch that. Don't want that.
Public housing.
Definitely don't want that.
And mass incarceration and police immunity.
I'm sorry, what was that?
End mass incarceration and police
immunity.
Oh, I got you.
Police immunity. The Green New Deal. Free Palestine. End blockades and embargoes and sanctions. This one you're definitely not going to agree with, but abolish ICE.
Yeah, I disagree with literally almost everything on that list.
I just want can I just, as a point of clarification too, I just looked it up because I was curious. I'm like, I haven't looked too much into this citywide ran grocery store. First of all, there's 2 things to note on this. Usually it's a partnership with the private businesses. Secondly, I found out something quite interesting. Apparently, Republicans are now communist. In Baldwin, Florida, there was a similar program ran in Baldwin, Florida. It actually operated for 5 years, albeit it did close down because of a Walmart down the street. But Baldwin, Florida is a red
Walmart
city. It's a red city, and they ran a very similar platform to what
was it. Hold on, was it a state funded or was it a co-op?
It was a city government-run enterprise similar to what Mamdani's offering. It's a partnership. What they're essentially doing is covering rent. They're covering the insurance, I think. Basically, a lot of the overhead they're covering, but they're subsidizing that for the private business. It's basically housing.
I do just want to throw this out here, just because I have no hope for my conservatives at the moment. Let me just throw this out here real quick on this point. If you just said it closed down because of Walmart moved in. That kind of proves the point that the capitalistic way is the superior way, and they're more efficient. They're working at smaller margins.
I would have gotten to that. I was just kind of
sure. Okay,
I would have gotten to that. So here in like where I'm at now, the town I live in, when I was born here 50 odd years ago, it was a much smaller town, and we've had a co-op here the whole time. It is not subsidized by the local government, but it is subsidized by the local farmers so that they can buy things in bulk and have a lower price. And I much prefer private individuals, private entities doing that than anything involved with government, period.
Well, again, go ahead.
No, I don't know, man. This whole fucking shit seems so trivial compared to what we're seeing right now out of MAGA.
Yeah, because
I
you're
get
just
it.
you're
scared
stuck
of
on you're stuck
communism.
on one point, and I'm looking at I don't even like that's
Dude,
honestly Trump's out of office in 2 years. I mean you can keep being mad about it, but that's fine.
The
Yeah,
funny
but,
part
like-
about this Baldwin market too is as I'm reading through this local article, it's saying that it
send
was
me that,
not-
would you? Because I really want to.
Yeah,
I want to know what happened.
I'll send it to you in a minute.
Thank
It
you.
says the opening of Baldwin Market in 2019 was not only celebrated by its residents. So this is another example where Republicans are like, "Yeah, we love this idea." Oh wait, it's a Arabic name and it's in Democrat city. Boo! Even though we just cheered for it 2 minutes ago. it's hysterical, the hypocrisy.
So if Trump made it, wait, I want to ask the question
Wait, what?
directly. If Trump made a government-run grocery store, said it was the best, going to be better than everything, anything.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't get
Washington-
behind that.
No, even if
I
it
wouldn't
was
agree.
Trump branded.
Nope.
I don't
no.
believe you. I don't fucking believe you too.
It doesn't matter
If
what
he
you
sold
fucking
it out-
Hold on,
believe.
let me tell you something. Like Trump, or not Trump, Gibbs and Greg.
I consider Trump a fucking
And I
Democrat.
base everything
Like,
off
what are
of
you talking
policy, off of principle. Everything I base my arguments off of principle. Gibbs knows that. Grid knows that. When I come at things that from a principle. So if I say no, I wouldn't agree with it. Even if Trump did it, it means I won't agree with it. Even if Trump did it.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what would make me decide is if they were buying Texas beef, specifically Gibbs brand beef for their stores, then I'd probably get behind it.
Oh yeah, and like when they're deregulating the agriculture like industry because they have some donors and shit that tell them to do that.
Well, because
You
they
would
do
know all
need to
about
do
that.
They do need to do that.
You would
Thank
you
God.
would know you
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank God they
Thank
did
God.
that.
Thank God.
Yeah.
And they're doing it.
I understand you don't
because they're donating
like
to
it, but it's
Trump's-
okay. Look, I don't know about Gibbs. I like a lot of things Trump says, but Trump's a Democrat. Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, you guys act like he's like far right. If you think Trump is
He's
far
a
right, you're going to
Democrat.
be
What are you
really
talking
scared
about?
in the future when actual
wait,
far right
wait.
people get in power.
What do you mean he's a Democrat? The dude does all the Trump, like all the Republican policies. He's defunding entitlements. He's doing massive tax cuts. He's in favor of conservative social policy. This is all very conservative. And it's coped.
Yeah, it's not conservative enough.
Populist at best. Like he's
Hold
a
on.
populist at best. He's not a conservative.
He absolutely
Populist, I
is
can agree
conservative.
with,
You
yeah.
guys are fucking coping. This is like some talking point.
I've
that,
said
like,
this for I've said this
This
for
is
like
used to like convince
years.
Tulsi
Hold on,
voters,
it-
right? This is some shit you say on Joe Rogan, but you're not on Joe Rogan. This is not going to fly with us.
I
But,
I don't get on Joe Rogan. I'm sorry. I appreciate
Is the Heritage Foundation Grid? Is the Heritage Foundation not right wing?
They're communists, bro. What are you talking about?
I like the Heritage Foundation for the most part. Yeah.
Okay, you do realize that at least in his first term, or he's still working through this term, obviously, right? Their national mandate for the president, Trump did 65% about of the national mandate from the Heritage Foundation. You do realize that, right?
Yeah, he should have done more.
Yeah, but you're saying he's not conservative. You're saying he's a Democrat. That was ridiculous, right?
All right, let's. Why do you think he's that conservative?
Because
Well, name a liberal policy of his.
Yeah, what's the liberal policies?
What's a liberal policy of Trump's? That's a good one. I haven't actually thought about his policies being liberal.
Bro, get the fuck out of
Bro,
here. But he's
come
a
on.
Democrat. He's a Democrat.
He is a fucking Democrat. He was a Democrat for a long
I'll
time.
give you one. First Step Act.
I got one. How about the Argentina beef deal? That's Democratic. Yeah, I mean,
Dude,
It was, but it was successful
was
though.
so
corrupt.
fuck.
Gibbs,
I know
you're
you
part of this,
hated
by the
it,
way.
but it was successful. I know you hated it, but it worked.
Dude,
Hey,
you
by
guys
the
are-
way, I just wanted to mention this too as a fun little a fun fact because I do have Asperger's and I tend to like dive into something. Just a
You're
fun
good.
fact: St. Paul, Kansas, also has a city owned and operated store. They're Republican leaning. Erie, Kansas, also Republican leaning. Baldwin, Florida, which we just mentioned. Cody, Nebraska. Little River, Kansas. Axtell, Kansas. Atlanta, Georgia. That one's Democratic. So there are several
You got me.
Republican cities that have city-owned grocery stores. So fun fact:
City
Just found
owned
that
or
out.
city like helped?
city-owned and operated.
That's crazy. I'll have to look into that.
Yep.
I don't
I was
like
gonna say, I
that at
didn't
all.
even
I
know
don't like
that.
that idea at all.
Gibbs, are you getting any like subsidy from the federal government?
I like bro. If you haven't heard my ag take, I fucking hate subsidies in like ag so badly. It's like the biggest thing that you can do to fuck up the ag.
But are you
industry.
getting any?
I'm currently not. No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Also-
I don't either.
And also, and here,
All
piece,
right.
like I
I
said,
could,
I'm
but
not
I
getting
don't.
anything. In fact, I was going to try to apply. This is a few years ago to do the organic beef stuff because, like if you're grass fed and you're doing like the pasture kind of system, you're pretty close to organic anyway. And like it's so many hoops. It's just so many hoops to jump through. And then like you get it, and it's like way overregulated. And then there's not really that much of a benefit. Like because like what I sell mainly like Mexican meat markets. Okay, what are they gonna put organic Gibbs beef on there? No, they're not gonna do that shit. Like so, there's no point because I don't know. It's really just a racket. It's a racket. Like and they're in on it. And it's another thing that hurts the beef industry along with livestock in general.
The problem with the farm subsidies, at least around here, is like basically anybody with more than about 5 acres can get one, and they'll like you can apply to, and they'll build you a barn. They'll pay X amount of dollars towards equipment.
Yeah, but then when you do that, they require you to do certain things, right? So like, okay, I'll give you an example. Why? Another reason I was subsidy, right? So they wanted me to build to get a certain subsidy. I would have had to build certain like types of building for like onloading and offloading cattle, right? This is a few years ago, right? And when I started to do that, I was like, oh, okay, we'll do this. This isn't too bad. We need to upgrade it anyway. Well, then I started looking into it. Well, yeah, they're going to give you a subsidy for this, but then that's going to raise your property value, and then so then you're going to get fucked by the taxes on the property value side, and then they're going to go like, oh, well, they might even come over and classify this as a whole different kind of building, and so then you might get screwed on certain like agricultural zoning for the area, and so it just turns into this clusterfuck, and it's just like the government just needs to get out of ag. Like I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
one way we could help farmers is by getting out of the Gulf. That's not helping with fertilizer prices. So that's one way. Again, another reason why we should put Democrats in place, because they would end the war in Iran, and we would end up theoretically with it in the war in Iran, and we would see fertilizer prices come down. So they're helping the farmers. They're lowering your taxes. They're bringing you a health care. I mean, if you're a moderate Republican, you should be voting Democrat. Gas prices are going down. Listen, if you're a moderate Republican, you should be getting out and voting for all of your Democratic. I know, listen, guys, I was a former conservative. I understand what it's like. It's like coming out of the closet. I have conservative parents. It's okay. You can vote Democrat.
Not okay.
It's okay.
Problem
I know it's tough. I promise you it's okay. Just check the box.
I don't know about the subsidies that you're talking about, Gibbs, but here they're abused a lot. Like I'd literally listened to a guy the other day talk about how he was going to use the subsidy to pay for his whatever the skid steer Bobcat thing. It's like 50 grand, and he was the city's or not city, but
I'm not arguing there's not corruption within the subsidies, and I'm not sure there's people
that corrupt as shit.
But like, the other thing is I want to point out, and like, I think this is actually the piece of this chat, right? And I hear this a lot from people on the left that like don't really understand ag. And this is an argument I get a lot about when they go, "Oh, Gibbs hates corn subsidies. He just doesn't get one himself." That's not what I'm talking about, right? And I'll just use the corn as an example of a greater problem with ag, because you can point to soy, and you can point to some other ones. So what happens is they artificially inflate the corn market. Okay, and everybody switches from grain to corn, and corn is hard on the ground. Like it's very a nitrogen heavy item, and so it usually takes 3 years, and you need to do crop rotation, right? So when you inflate this market, it raises up, and suddenly you have a worldwide corn crash. What happens then is now you can't go back to these other products that you were growing, and so you lost the grain-fed beef, you lost the corn-fed beef because the market has crashed, right? You can't restart growing for 3 years. Now that leaves the only grass-fed beef being around, and that's going to cause your price to increase because it's the interconnected food web, right? And this is an example that happens time and time again in ag, where you see the soy industry, right? And so this is why I don't like subsidies, because then it actually makes food more expensive, right? Because hey, if you have grass-fed, corn-fed, and grain-fed beef competing with each other, your overall price will be lower. But now we only have one mainly right now, and the other two are starting to recover. But this drove beef prices up dramatically. So it's not that I don't get a subsidy; it's that like they don't understand the further down the line outcomes a lot of times.
Yeah, I agree.
But we're about here at the end. Let's go through closing statements here. We'll start with Castle here, and then we'll knock this out.
Yeah, so I think I tried to come into this conversation trying to take like a center view of instances where it would make sense. But then the Republicans had to come in and completely change my whole strategy here, and it just made it more obvious to why why Pisco, why Vince, why even Vigi, and then even I are looking at it's insane corruption going on the other side and saying it's actually shocking. It seems like there's almost two different types of media ecosystems going on, because it's either you guys haven't heard of anything that's going on, or when corruption does happen, well, the DSA is scary and they're doing grocery stores in the city. So it's hard to come up with a reason why I would feel any more confident in voting for a Republican over a Dem socialist at this point. Obviously, I tried to do that at the beginning with certain hypotheticals, but the reality is we're so politicized and so polarized that we live in a country now where every election is going to be close. I know that you could throw out the worst Republican, the worst Democrat in an election. It's really going to be close every time at this point because of how polarized we are and how entrenched the two sides are. And so at the end of the day, it's going to be hard to convince either side. And that's why I do think it's important still for Democrats and even in the hard left or the Democratic Socialists to really focus on those key issues like economics, like affordability, and to stay away from things like abolishing prisons and abolishing crime, because I think there is a lot of middle ground to be made. There are people who voted for Obama twice who then voted for Trump twice. There are people who voted for Trump who are voting for DSA candidates. And it's because a lot of voters want change in this country. And when the Republicans aren't giving the voters what they asked for with this Trump administration, they're going to look for alternatives, and they're going to keep looking for those who keep talking about these issues, even if they're the most extreme. So if Republicans want to just complain about Democratic Socialists instead of offering change that they were voted to enact, then the Republicans and people on this panel who are pro-conservative are going to be shocked when a Democratic Socialist does start to gain more traction and gain more power in this country, and they won't have anybody to blame but themselves. The Democrats made this mistake with Trump. It's going to come around and start to affect the other side if they don't get their act together. And we're starting to see that already with this administration. I mean, Trump's approval is awful. The midterms are probably going to go pretty poorly for them. And so unless they start enacting and electing moderates on their side, I think you're going to see a real reckoning for Republicans. That's going to lead to more DSA candidates gaining traction. And if they do get into power and start making the change that people want, I don't know if it's going to be reversible for the Republican side. So I think that's the horror story, and that's the nightmare that moderate and centrist Dems had to deal with Trump. And I think that's something that Republicans have to worry about. So at the end of the day, I think the Dems on this panel did a better job of convincing me that they were right.
All right, thank you so much. Let's go with Pisco.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of a joke, man. I mean, this country is being attacked by the corrupt authoritarian ways of the Republican Party, which is a wholly owned subsidiary now, effectively, of Trump. And the amount of graft, the amount of just blatant, in your face corruption and assaults on our democracy is so much that we can just come up off of the dome with like 5-6 examples of specific corrupt crypto deals or insider trading or conflicted interests on contract stuff, and there's nothing in response other than like the groceries are going to be owned, like one grocery store, 5 grocery stores in New York City, or they're going to subject billionaires to double taxation in New York. It's like, is this the big fear? Is that what we're all supposed to be shaking in our boots about? The DSA has like some bad ideas, no doubt about it, but like by and large, they would be a vote to end the corruption. They would be a vote against the Iran war. They would be a vote in favor of punishing a lot of these people that need to be punished. I mean, it is in the interest of our democracy for people to be behind bars, including but not limited this alleged President Trump. And so given that, like, what are we scared of? We're scared of Fast and Furious scheme. We're scared of like the trans people showing up to like the schools and shit. The examples that were given by the other side of like the fear, where it's just laughable. They speak for themselves. And so given that reality, of course you should vote for DSA over Republican. It's not even close. Maybe at a later time or during the primaries we can have fights about these like kooky characters and these like individuals who are unelectable or whatever. but not when it's against the Republican, never against the Republican. And if you don't even accept that many of these instances of MAGA corruption are even corrupt or authoritarian, then you'll never understand why people will vote for the DSA over them.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's go to Glenn.
Yeah. Let me just say this. Like, if you're thinking about voting for a DSA candidate, please read what they believe. Stop getting sold on this like socialism, rainbow colored free stuff bullshit in a wrapper, okay? Because the DSA wants to move America beyond capitalism, right? They want to support ownership. They want public ownership for major industries, universal government funded healthcare. They want to control rent. They want to be able to guarantee federal jobs, 32-hour work weeks, right? Abolishing ICE, right? They even want to abolish the Senate. Right? That's not reforming America. That's fundamentally restructuring it. That's like dropping a fucking nuke on it. Here's a question that nobody wants to ask. Who pays for all this? How much more control does a government have to gain before you've traded economic freedom for government dependency? How much? You want affordable health care? You can fight for that. But none of that requires abolishing capitalism. So if you want to be sold on this free shit, remember, it's going to come at a cost. And somebody's going to pay for it. You want to give up your liberties? You want to give up your freedom for government-controlled stuff? Or do you want to still have your freedoms? That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's go to Vigilante.
Yeah, so realistically speaking, the Democrats and the DSA have a lot of policy wants in common. We both want better access to healthcare. We both want better access to college. We both want better access to housing. We realistically, the base wants to limit or end corruption. These are all policies that the DSA is pushing for. There are some bad policies. I'll grant that. There are things that even I, somebody who is very closely aligned politically with the DSA, don't even support. I think the idea of abolishing police is kind of retarded. I think the idea of abolishing ICE is kind of retarded. I think the idea of abolishing prisons is kind of retarded. Like there are things that they want to do that we should push back on them and say like, hey, we probably shouldn't do these things. But like generally speaking, the policies that they want are the same policies that most moderate, even moderate Democrats want. Like one of the things that people often forget is like even a lot of moderate Democrats have pushed for universal health care at some point or another. The Hillary Clinton back in like the early 90s when she was in Congress pushed for a universal health care bill. We want the same things. Generally speaking, the DSA just goes a little bit farther. It needs to be pushed back on a little bit about some of the more extreme policies that they have. And it's a lot easier to manage that than going and voting Republican and having the MAGA types be the people that you have to try to push back on, when a lot of like what the more extreme Republicans want to do is things like get rid of the Voting Rights Act, which they've already borderline gutted at this point. Things like ban abortion, things like get rid of the Civil Rights Act, and because like you've got people like Clarence Thomas that are saying we should get rid of the Civil Rights Act. There's two completely different dichotomies here. One side wants to push the country a little bit farther and push the country a little bit better, and maybe wants to go a little bit too far in certain aspects, and the other side wants to completely regress us all the way back to the 1960s and 1940s, if not a little bit farther than that. And you can't sit here and say that it would be a good idea to vote for the side that wants to regress us to push back against the people who want to push progress forward.
All right, so let's go to Grid.
Oh, okay. I thought I was going to get last word. All right. Well, as I sit here, I had to reflect over the course of this debate, and all I really heard was Trump bad. Vote for these jackasses over here wearing DSA on their shirt. This is a problem with that. You guys completely fucking ignored that you're not voting for Trump. You're voting for actual Republicans that mean well. Brendan Herrera is not a MAGA Republican. Down in Texas, he's going to do great fucking work down there, and you guys are fucking idiots because you don't understand it. You don't actually understand anything but hate Trump. This is the dumbest. This is honestly the dumbest debate I've sat in a long time. I couldn't even actually respect it that much because all I heard was Trump bad, Trump corrupt, and therefore all Republicans are corrupt. Well, fuck that. That's stupid. You guys did not convince me to vote for a DSA. All you guys did was say, oh, you know, they want no corruption. Yeah. Most Republicans really hate corruption. We fucking hate it. We're the law and order. We are the party of law and order, not you guys. You guys are not the party of law and order. There are more Democrats locked up than any other fucking one. So don't give me that bullshit. But the best part of this whole thing was the massive amount of cope and just seething around how I don't give a shit about a bunch of weird factoids. Although it did force me to think about the crypto bullshit from like 3 years ago, but that's okay. I like it. It's wonderful that we can have these talks. It just didn't have jack shit to do with the argument. The argument is should you vote for DSA or should you vote for Republicans? The choice is obviously clear. Republicans. Actual American values, not this hippie bullshit DSA communism shit. We don't want that. Nobody actually wants it. Even every single one of you guys have said, maybe they go too far. Maybe they don't do things I like. Yeah, put those guys in power. That's how you get Hitler. It's exactly how they got Hitler. You dumb fucks.
All right. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Mr. Wilson.
Yep. All right, so let's talk about this real quick. Government-ran healthcare. We got Trump RX. Government-owned. Oh, we got Intel stocks and TikTok stocks galore. Who pays for all of this? You know, that's a great question. I wonder who pays for the Trump DC projects, the revamping of the Trump Qatari jet. Oh, and free, by the way, free. Did you know that if you sign up for a Trump child account, they'll give you $1,000 into a stock investment account? Now, by the way, you might say, well, that's good, except the realization of like Dell donating to that and getting a kickback via the Trump administration. That's okay. Not voting for Trump. Now, that's an interesting point, except Mike Johnson explicitly said, verbatim, quote for quote, Trump is on the ballot. So I think it's quite clear that Trump is on the ballot. And I think at this point it is worth noting because one thing that Republicans have been feckless on and ineffective and spineless on is holding Trump's power back. They refuse to rein in war powers resolution. They want to tax you more via tariffs. They want to make sure that there's no congressional investigations to allow corruption to go through. So if there's one clear winner when it comes to 2028, or 2026 rather, and 2028, but 2026, it's easy. And it's one word. It's not the DSA, like the fear that's being made, because not one single Democrat is running on the DSA platform right now. I challenge you to look for it. They're not going to. It is the Democrats. They are the right choice. They'll lower your taxes. They'll lower your costs of fertilizers. They'll bring back American jobs. And they'll bring back your boys and troops that are your boys and girls in uniform that are overseas. They will rein in Trump and investigate Trump for his blatant and open and obvious corruption. And that's where I'll land.
Well, thank you so much. I want to thank everybody for being here. Guys, you don't know this was an impromptu panel. We threw it together. This was very fun. A very good job, everybody. Yeah, I've never wanted to not be the mod for a panel so bad in my life, but well, here we are. I was very something, but it was fun. But thank you all so much. We're gonna be rating up the Big Hurt on my side. I hope you all have a good rest of your night. Bye, everybody. Y'all gonna be good. Thank you so much again.
Have a good one.
See you guys.
Have a good one, guys.
Take it
Take
easy,
care.
guys.
Have a good night. I got another debate ticket too.
Good
You
luck.
couldn't see me, but I'm waving.
I feel it. Hold
Hey.
on, guys.
Hold on. You guys want to stay on real quick?
Hold on. Y'all can stay on for sure.